everybody. Tonight we're debating flat Earth versus globe Earth, and we're starting right now.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for another epic debate. If this is your first time here at Modern Day Debate, want to let you know we are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. And want to let you know as well, no matter what walk of life you're from, folks, we really do hope you feel welcome. We're glad you're here. And it's going to be a fun one tonight, you guys. I am thrilled. So what we're going to do is I'll let you know the format first. We're going to have a flexible, roughly 10-minute opening statement from each speaker. And again, that's flexible to meet the speaker's needs. Then after that, which by the way, we'll have Paul going first and then Witsit doing his opening as well, followed by open conversation. So kind of a civil discourse followed by Q&A at the end. So if you happen to have a question, feel free to fire it into the old live chat, and you can tag me with @ModernDayDebate. That makes it easier for me to see every question so I can put it in that Q&A list. And what we're going to do is introduce our guests. We're thrilled to have them with us, and we also want to give them a chance to share about their links, which I have put in the description, folks. So if you want to hear more from our guests, you certainly can by clicking on those links. And that includes if you're listening via podcast, which, by the way, folks, I have to tell you, we are thrilled. People have apparently found the podcast useful. We see a lot of downloads, which is encouraging that it's useful. And so I want to encourage you folks, if you haven't checked us out on podcast yet, well, hey, pull out your favorite podcast app on your phone and find us on there. But with that, we're going to introduce our guests. We're thrilled to have them. And so first, Paul, we're thrilled to have you here. Folks, I want to let you know, Paul is a experienced pilot. He's got how many years is it, Paul, if I can ask?
I started flying in 1999. I started flying gliders, and then I progressed onto powered aircraft. I wouldn't class myself as an experienced pilot. I'm not a commercial pilot. I just have my national private pilot's license. I fly small aircraft.
You got it. Well, thanks so much for
commercial.
Your humble spirit. I appreciate that. And so what we're going to do is, I want to say, actually, Paul, if you can share what people can expect to find at your link in the description. Thanks again for being here.
Yeah, if you have a look on my link, you'll find some videos of flying. I don't have a great deal of contacts out there. Like I said, there's some flying videos, there's little bits and bobs. I'm hoping to build the channel up a little bit more. Hopefully, this will encourage me to maybe take part in a few more debates and things like that.
You got it. Thanks so much, Paul. And kicking it over to Witsit Gets It. Good to have you back. He's been here a number of times, and here he is again with his link in the description. What can people expect to find at that link, Witsit?
Well, we do talk about the Earth here and there, and of course, upload videos where I go out and I, tell people the truth in real life. Show people it's not really as intimidating as it may seem. You just have to go do it because we're being censored on the internet, so might as well go do it. And then, basically anything under the sun, man, anything that needs to be questioned that we've been taught that seems to be lacking in empirical evidence, we think for ourselves, and that's pretty much it. And they're censoring me, so, stay up to date, and I'll let you know where we go from there.
You got it. Well, we're thrilled to have you back as well, Austin. And so what we were going to do is, as mentioned, jump into those opening statements. So, Paul, the floor is all yours for your opening statement.
Actually, it was Austin that was going to go first because mine is going to basically follow on with what Austin has to say.
That's right. Thank you very much for that. So we'll start with Austin. The floor is all yours. And thanks so much again, both of you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on tour telling everyone around the nation that they've been lied to about the Earth. It's called the Clown World Tour. So I don't have a presentation per se for you, but of course, being a pilot is really of no value when it comes to or pertinent to this discussion. This is one for, of course, you cannot see the curvature admittedly from one of the main scientific communicators, Neil deGrasse Tyson, from over 128,000 feet where Felix Baumgartner jumped. Commercial flight flies a fourth of that altitude. You admitted you weren't a commercial flight, so you weren't even flying our pilot, so you weren't even flying that high. I used to work at an airport, a private airport, know hundreds of pilots on a first name basis. Every single time I asked them, do they account for curvature? They chuckle, say, of course not. And the horizon's always horizontal, and that's how you actually acclimate your flight. Nothing about a plane or flying one has anything to do with a presupposed convexity of terra firma. Of course, it's literally called a plane because it flies over a plane and assumes a flat, non-rotating surface, as in every single patent of a plane ever assumes that. Pilots are trained on a target generation facility, which assumes a flat, non-rotating surface, and it negates the gravity vector. So really, bluntly, being a pilot in no way does anything but gives firsthand testimony to physical evidence of the Earth being flat. This is because the efficacy of the use case of flying a plane is actually physical evidence whenever it is successful, because it assumes a flat, non-rotating surface. You have to account for convexity and terra firma. You have to account for movement. You'd have to account for this mystical Coriolis that's pseudo-scientific nonsense. And none of that's the case. So yeah, it's pretty much like I always say, the globe Earth actually has the burden of proof, right? So they're making a positive claim of where we live, contrary to all empirical evidence. So when I say the Earth's stationary, I have literally all empirical evidence to back that up. You actually claim something antithetical to all empirical evidence, as that we're moving. So you have the evidence, or you have the burden of proof, right? Because you're making the claim antithetical to empirical evidence. It's the same thing with the movement. It's the same thing with the convexity rate. It's the same thing with space being a vacuum that we can go to. So objectively, in an intellectual forum, the globe Earth proponent has the burden of proof. And there is no physical empirical evidence of even the potentiality of any of these things. Water bending convexly around the exterior of a spinning object in a vacuum with pressure adjacent to a near perfect vacuum, void of physical containment. Water bending convexly in and of itself is an impossibility because of fluid statics. So where the debate goes from here will be kind of, it'll be on the globe proponent, because again, they have the burden of proof. So that's pretty much it. I guess in conclusion, I will say presuppositions and reifications don't mean anything. Telling me a creative fairy tale as to how it could work or how you think it works doesn't mean anything. So like, oh, we don't feel it moving, but this is why. Well, that's just a pseudoscientific presupposition, a begging the question fallacy. Reification fallacies are insufficient when discussing something as big as a definitive natural claim. You're making definitive claims about the natural world. We need natural empirical evidence. So yeah, that's about it. The Earth's provably a geocentric stationary plane until proven otherwise.
You got it. Thank you very much. Witsit gets it. We'll kick it over to Paul for his opening as well. Thanks so much, Paul. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, thanks, Austin, for that. I do agree with you that flying a plane doesn't make any difference to the globe. It'll all work on a flat surface, and it'll work on a globe surface as well. I just need to put my headset in because I just want to do a little presentation, and sometimes when I share my screen I'll lose the volume, so I won't be able to hear you. So I'll just put my headset in and then I can still hear you. Right, can you hear me still? Right, lovely. Right, I just need to go to share screen. Right, can you see that?
I think, let's see, the window that we're seeing is the Zoom window. I think you might have clicked on the auxiliary Zoom window instead of the PowerPoint.
Right,
Or it might be your browser, actually. So I think, let me try this really quick. What I'll do is pop you out of screen share, and then I think if you try the same method you did, I think it might just be a different window that you were trying to show us.
Right, so I click on the share screen, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's I think that's still just like the Zoom.
Yeah, just a minute. See if I can.
Here we go.
What's that like now? Should be a PowerPoint window.
Not quite yet.
Right, just a minute. We close that. Right, so I clicked on share screen. What's that like? It's a PowerPoint I'm trying to share.
Yeah, I think that what you'd want to do is, so like once you click on the old green screen share button, then you'd just kind of look, like Zoom will give you like an option to choose from all the different windows that you have on your computer. And you'd,
Yeah, it's not giving me the, unfortunately, it's not giving me the PowerPoint window.
is it, and the PowerPoint window is for sure up.
No, it's not coming up. All right, let me just have a look. Wonder if I open the PowerPoint and then go to share. All right, so that now should come up with the PowerPoint, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, brilliant. We got there eventually.
Yep.
Right, so as Austin said in his opening statement, he doesn't feel that he holds the burden of proof. And I actually agree with him. He doesn't hold the burden of proof because he's not claiming the shape of the Earth. What he's doing is he doesn't accept the globe Earth. And I've also noticed in a few of his debates, he said that he would like one single piece of evidence that follows the scientific method. So what is the scientific method? You start off by asking a question, do some background research, construct an hypothesis, test your hypothesis by doing an experiment, analyze your data and draw a conclusion. Report your results. Was your hypothesis correct? So we're going to shoot back in time a couple of thousand years. And I know you've heard this one before, Witsit. Ask a question. Aristophanes, whilst working as a librarian, learned that during the summer solstice, the sun cast no shadow in Cyrene, but in Alexandria, at the same time, the sun did cast a shadow. Why? Do background research. Aristophanes knew the distance from Alexandria to Cyrene to be 500 miles or 800 kilometers. Aristophanes measured the difference in the angles of and the shadows in Alexandria and Cyrene. Construct an hypothesis. With the information he had collected, Aristophanes, using simple geometry, hypothesized the Earth was a globe. Test this hypothesis. Let's shoot forward now 1,000+ years. At this time in Europe, shipbuilding had come a long way. Navigation needed to improve as ships travel further away from land. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose the sight of the shore, said the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus. Latitude and longitude. By using latitude and longitude lines on a globe, we can split the globe into sections that can give positions on any part of that globe. Latitude lines go from the equator north and south in degrees. The equator is 0 degrees latitude. So this is the equator, you can see my mouth. And the latitude lines run south and north in degrees. Longitudes move west to east from the prime meridian, which is in Greenwich, England. And that is the 0 degrees latitude. So you've got 0 degrees latitude and from the equator moving upwards. These degrees can be broken down even further. So we can have degrees, minutes and seconds. For example, 41 degrees north, 24 minutes and 12 seconds. East, 2 degrees, 10 minutes, 26 seconds will put you in Barcelona. Finding latitude and longitudes. Sailors find their latitude by using celestial objects such as the North Star. Finding longitude was more difficult. To find longitude, you need to know the time in Greenwich and the time where you are. We know the sun moves across the sky at 15 degrees per hour. If it's midday in Greenwich and only 1000 hours at your location, you are 30 degrees west of Greenwich. If it's 1400 hours at your location, you are 30 degrees east of Greenwich. This was a problem for sailors as they didn't have an accurate way of telling the time. Along came John Harrison, who invented the marine chronometer, solving this problem of finding longitude. And just for the UK viewers, if you look at the picture to the right, and you remember watching Only Fools and Horses, this was the watch that they found, which made them millionaires. Analyze the data. Modern navigation charts used by sailors and pilots use charts with latitude and longitude. We know these charts work as they are used successfully by thousands of people every day. These charts only work on a globe Earth, as the longitude lines get closer together the further north or south you go from the equator. Navigation charts don't fit on a flat Earth. All the latitude and longitude lines need to all join up and remain the correct distance. If you look at the flat Earth map on the right, which is quite often used by flat earthers, you've got the longitude lines running from north to south, and the equator would be around about here. So they fit going north because the longitudinal lines get shorter the further you go up. But if you look, the further south they go, the more they get wider apart. That does not fit with the navigational charts. All navigational charts correspond with the globe. So this model would not work. Can the globe be falsified? Fundamental to science is the concept of hypotheses being falsified. How can my hypotheses I've just presented be falsified? Number one, show how navigation charts fit on the flat Earth without any alterations to the charts. Number two, show how the navigational charts don't work in the real world. And number three, show how navigation charts don't fit the globe. And if you look at the picture on the right, this is what I've drawn out myself. So we've got the equator here, and this is the northern hemisphere. And as you can see, all the longitudinal lines from the equator going up get narrower. Going south of the equator, the longitudinal lines also need to get narrower. And this is the only way I could make it work. And as you can see, if you were to follow that model, you've got gaps here and gaps here, which will not fit with the natural world. If you remove these and look at that shape and then fold these backwards, guess what you've got? A globe. That's demonstrating that the navigational charts used by sailors and pilots with the longitudinal and latitude lines would not fit on a flat Earth and would only fit on the globe. Report the results then. After looking at all the data, the only conclusion is the Earth is a globe. I'll stop sharing that bit.
Thank you very much. And also want to remind you folks, forgot to mention it earlier, we are pumped as in the next month, we are scheduling it for sometime in March. Matt Dillahunty will be returning to debate Samuel Nassan on whether or not Jesus fulfilled prophecy. You don't want to miss that, folks. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you get all notifications, because you won't want to miss that one live, and that's coming up in March as mentioned. So with that, gentlemen, thanks very much for your openings, and what we're going to do is open it up to open conversation. The floor is all yours.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and start. So your first PowerPoint slide, you said Austin likes to talk about science, and I like to see one piece of scientific evidence for the globe. And yeah, that's correct. I do say that. And science is not some subjective thing that you can type it on a PowerPoint and change the definition of it, right? It's called the Socratic method. We have agreed upon defined terms so that we actually are, productive. And science has a very, definable parameter to it, right? So you have your naturally occurring observable phenomena. That's your first step. So if you don't have that, you're not even in the ballpark of science, bro.
Yeah, Austin, I'm not here to actually debate you on science. I've basically done the PowerPoint, putting out a presentation to why I think that the Earth is a globe.
Okay.
I've demonstrated, I believe, why I believe that it's a globe. can you debunk what I've just said? Can you make the navigational charts fit on a flat surface?
Sure. Well, for one, I was going to go through your PowerPoints one by one, but we can skip around. And you just basically conceded. You believe the Earth's a globe. Yeah, well, I did too, bro. I was taught the Earth's a globe. This isn't a belief. It's about empirical verifiability and falsifiability. You touched on that. Something must be falsifiable in order to even be considered to be viable. Right. But if you want to talk about the navigation chart, sure, whatever. They use Cartesian coordinate systems, and every map that exists is flat, and they all go based off of Polaris and then the sky. In fact, longitude and latitude are derivative of the motion, the cyclical nature of the sky. The sky moves. The Earth doesn't move. You just say that the sky isn't moving, the Earth is moving, and that it's a ball. Then you take the Cartesian coordinates at a z-axis with the presupposition of sphericity, and then you map it out. And so in addition to that, there is no such thing as land layout in a globe projection that isn't disproportionate. So, basically implicit in your claim is that traveling using a globe is real efficient, and that's patently false. And there is no such thing as a globe projection that isn't disproportionate. And whenever they actually navigate, they assume Cartesian coordinates with X and Y coordinates to their local positioning system. So, that's just, once again, I prefaced by saying just presupposing the Earth's a ball and then telling me, look, we traveled and we mapped it down on a theoretical ball doesn't actually do anything but beg the question.
Well, no, because if you look at any navigational charts, like I explained before, when you look at the longitudinal lines on these charts, they correspond exactly with the globe.
Because the globe, sir, was designed based on that.
Right.
So, of course it does.
Yeah. So they follow exactly what's on the globe. These do. If you lay all these charts out flat, if you had a big enough space to lay all these charts out, that is the shape that they will follow.
Is that where we live? Do we live on that?
Well, well, if it's flat, yes, that's what we'd have to live on.
That's inaccurate. There's no such thing as an accurate map because
but if you put these together, you get a globe, which follows, they all follow exactly what is on the globe, and the globe's behind you. They all follow exactly.
Speaking of these, we're getting people to sign these and we're selling them, but you know what's on the bottom of all of them? Not for educational purposes. This is not an accurate representation of reality whatsoever, and it's actually admitted by the people that produce them, manufacture them.
You wouldn't use these for navigation, no.
Let's
you wouldn't
never use them up, then.
No, you wouldn't use them for navigation, but because the detail is too small. I mean, you look at this here. You've got the UK there. How the hell could you use that for navigation?
No, sir. That's not why they're not good. They're not accurate. They're admittedly disproportionate.
What these say. When I look at this and I look at the longitudinal lines on here, they match up.
Do you know why?
Go on.
Okay, well, I'll tell you why they match up. Because again, longitude and latitude are derivative of, meaning derived from the sky's movement. So they took the movement, then the sky, locations relative to their positioning throughout different times of the year with the sky, and then they reverse engineered a model assuming the globe Earth, and then mapped out the longitude and latitude lines with an assumed z-axis. So then to take the model mapped around it and say, it works. Of course it works. It was made after the fact, reverse engineering, derivative of the sky cyclical nature. So this is a presupposition. This is a begging the question fallacy.
But if all navigational charts, like I said, like this one, for instance, I can't open it because it's massive, but all these navigational charts correspond to what is on this globe. And like I've just said, if you lay all these charts out on the ground and you correspond all the longitudinal and latitudinal lines together so they are all touching, you will get that shape. That shape is the flat shape of a globe, because like I said, if you fold these back in, guess what you've got? You've got yourself the globe.
Is bending that piece of paper somehow giving me empirical evidence that the Earth's a ball, sir? Because they say 70% of it's water and water finds its level. We've measured the Earth. It's not a globe.
If this is accurate and you could successfully navigate around the globe with this.
That's flat, bro.
Yes, I know it is. And that's what it will look like if you join them all together, which corresponds to this. And that's
because there's no such thing as a completely accurate map.
If you lay them all flat, they will all join up. When you get to the southern hemisphere, it will look like that. Is
the globe map accurate?
Is the what? As in the globe
map accurate?
The globe, you mean? Or the navigation?
Yeah, is the globe accurate? Is the land layout on the globe accurate?
It's an accurate representation of the Earth, but you wouldn't use it for navigation.
No. but I'm asking you a pointed question, right? Is the land layout on a globe accurate?
Yes.
It's objectively not, sir. It's not even close to being accurate. You can go to actualsize.com. It will show you the true sizes of the continents as you drag them over. So there's a disproportionate nature of land layout inherent with any map in the world, including
there is errors in all maps, but the errors isn't that bad that you can't navigate by it. That's what I'm saying. There is errors, but it still perfectly works fine for navigation. And
a flat map doesn't work? Is that what you're saying?
No, the flat map doesn't work. That's what I'm saying. It
does work. Okay, so this proves nothing. This goes in the basket of, works on both models. So
it doesn't work on both models because on the flat model, the Earth must look like that. It must do. It can only look 1/2. Wait,
do you know?
It must look like that.
Wait, do you know where the Earth ends? Where does the Earth end? We're not even allowed to go past the 60th south latitude. How can I accurate layout of proportionate land masses if I don't know the actual proximity of the Earth?
How do you mean we can't go past this?
It's illegal to privately and freely explore past the 60th south latitude because all the world's major nations got together and said that it is, sir. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, in 2014...
You can book a trip to Antarctica now.
That is not what I said. I said freely and privately explore it, bro. Not like go on a tour because I called and got approved and paid $20,000 to go see one little section they showed me. That's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, for a start off, it's very cold. It would be a very dangerous place just to turn up on a whim and start wandering about.
Bro, I can climb Mount Everest.
It's also one of the last places on the Earth that has been virtually untouched by man. So no, they don't want thousands of people just turning up there. But you can go past. Well, for a start off, each year, I think it's done each year. They do a race round the Antarctic.
Yeah, sailboats. Yeah, I know all about them. I've done the math on all of them. Have you looked into it?
So where are they going then? The route? So where I have seen the route. Yeah,
the route doesn't go around an ice cap, bro. It comes down and comes back up north. So that's non sequitur to proving the Earth's a ball. So we can try again. It's illegal to privately and freely explore past the 60th south latitude. It's called the Antarctic Treaty, and subsequent legislation has been signed. What?
That, if you look at the picture, that is the route that they take.
Okay. Have you seen it mapped out on a flat projection with the northern continent above it? The actual route mapped out. Have you seen it? It comes down and pops back up north. So we can't verify that little ice cap, bro. You're asking me to believe stories, dude. I don't believe stories, man. I want empirical evidence. I thought this was where we were getting evidence for the first time. We haven't gotten any. We've gotten stories of how that the route actually goes around an ice cap.
The evidence I presented, my argument basically is, and the evidence I've got is that if navigational charts work, which they do, we all know navigational charts work. People use thousands of times each day
for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
Okay, well, everyone knew the Earth was a geocentric
space. Hang on. No, the navigational chart that I'm talking about hasn't been used for thousands of years.
Is it more accurate than the old ones?
I'm talking about navigational charts which have longitude and latitude lines on them.
So do the old ones.
They correspond with what the globe model is.
But the old ones had it too, and they
work. If these work, and they're proven to work, and if you laid them all out flat, that is what it would look like. Now,
why do you keep saying that?
Both agree, because that's what it would look like. If you laid them all out flat, so all the longitude and latitude lines join up, that is the only shape that you are going to get. If you
well, you don't know the true proximity of the land masses, bro. We can't privately explore the Earth.
Basically, like I've just said, if you lay all these maps out, that is the shape that you will get. And that.
Why do you just keep saying that, bro? You're just saying that.
I don't understand how you cannot see that is correct.
It's a baseless assertion.
You can buy all these navigational maps. You can look and you can go and get all these navigational maps and join them up and find out yourself. They all join up and they all marry up with this.
So for one, are you saying that we know for a 100% proportionate land layout and the proximity of the entire Earth so that we can make some type of depiction of it from an orthographic view? Or are you just making baseless assertions, skating past the fact that I can't privately explore that area, bro? So you have to know the whole Earth to be able to project.
Just because you can't privately explore Antarctica, I don't see how that's relevant.
I don't blindly believe the government.
It's one part on the Earth that is undisturbed by man. and they would like to keep it that way.
Yeah, so for thousands of years, for all recordable histories, humans have fought over every square inch of land, every resource they can get their hands on, every village they can rape and pillage for every single type of power motive in the world. But when it comes to a huge land mass with tons of resources that are completely untapped, not one of the world's superpowers decided to go try to take it over. They've all agreed to put all their sides or all their differences aside, even though they hate each other and are supposedly geopolitical adversaries, and then agree to not let any of us little peasants go privately explore because, well, they can tell us what the earth is. We shouldn't be able to verify it for ourselves. I don't blindly believe the government, bro. They set up wars and admit that they fake false flag attacks. I don't trust the government, bro. We need empirical evidence.
Right. Okay. Do you want to move on to something else then, apart from the
Sure.
navigational charts?
Because navigational charts have been used for thousands of years, sir, and everyone knew the earth was flat, and it uses the North Star, which has stayed in the center for all recordable history. And you brought up Aristophanes
charts,
too.
like I say, that's the shape you get, which turns out to be a globe.
Okay, no, it doesn't. That globe means nothing. So Aristophanes, you brought that up in your first. Do you actually think Aristophanes is sufficient empirical evidence that the Earth's a ball that defies physics?
No, I mean, some people don't actually believe that Aristophanes did it. I just use that as an example, as in the asking of a question. So whether he asked the question or somebody else asked that question, it doesn't matter. The question was asked.
So you agree Aristophanes is just some fairy tale people made up to push the pseudoscientific Jesuit religion that says that we're spinning in a vacuum?
Who actually did it, I think, is irrelevant. The question was asked of why do you get shadows in one area? He didn't even do it. Well, if he didn't do it, somebody else did it. The question is being asked. The question is why at a certain time of the year do you get shadows in one place and you don't get shadows in another place? Or if you're in one part of the globe or the Earth and you move to another point, at the same time, shadows will be different between them two different points.
They would be different on a flat Earth too, sir.
That's what?
They would be different on a flat Earth too.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say, if the sun is closer. Yeah,
so I said in my preface, if you just presuppose the Earth's a magic spinning cartoon ball that defies physics, that isn't evidence of it.
The hypothesis that I mentioned is that he assumed that the Earth was a globe, and then he put it to the test by going through what I've just said, by having longitude, latitudinal lines, mapping out the globe, putting it onto navigational charts. Then navigational charts fit with the globe. The navigational charts are successful, they work, therefore the shape of the Earth must be the globe, or it's a starship.
Bro, what in the world kind of logic was that, bro? You just ran off the railroad tracks there.
No,
Aristophanes, can I respond, sir?
Hey,
can I respond?
Go on.
Aristophanes wasn't even a real person for all I know. There's no primary documentation of this at all. There's not even primary documentation. You're telling me a fairy tale, sir. And then you keep on saying, but he did this and it proved it was a globe. But it's literally a fairy tale. Then when I pressed you on that, it doesn't matter if he did it, someone else did it. He assumed a distant sun and parallel rays.
It doesn't matter who did it. It's whether the question was asked, and the question has been asked. We all asked that question. We've then built up a model on the globe. We've mapped it out. We've developed navigational charts which follow the globe, and they worked. They work.
So navigational charts were here already, bro.
Don't worry. I love your guys' enthusiasm, but just to get to hear the rest from Paul, I think Paul was maybe mid-thought. If you had any more you were adding to that, Paul.
No, it's the same thing. I think we might as well move on to something else because he's not going to accept the navigational charts. Like I say, I'll just end it by saying if navigational charts work, if you lay them navigational charts out under the ground and join them all together, that is the shape that you've got, which is basically a two-dimensional representation of a 3D object, which is the globe. Join them that way, it ends up being the globe again.
Sir, I'm really trying not to be disrespectful, but I don't care about your origami, bro. Like, it means nothing. So we need empirical evidence. Dude, navigation using the celestial alignment of the cyclical nature of the stars has been going on for thousands of years. Polaris has been in the center the whole time. You claim we're spinning and revolving, shooting 500,000 miles per hour around the sun through space while the galaxy shoots 1.3 billion miles an hour.
I was actually just claiming. I came on here basically to argue about the shape of the Earth, not what the Earth's doing or whether it's rotating. But if we want to go down that route, you can do so.
Well, you keep saying there's a globe.
We're rotating. We're rotating. So
yeah, for you to have gravity, it has to be spinning. So you can't have your globe Earth fairy tale that defies physics without it spinning, because it creates the centripetal or centrifugal, which they changed their mind because they're pseudoscientific psychopaths, based on the attraction of mass particles relative to the center of mass. And its movement is what causes the gravitational resultant of the bending and warping of fabric to concepts, which is a reification fallacy. So you have to be spinning, my man, if that's what your model says. That's why the stars look like they move. So that's it. There's no pick and choose here. But we can get right to the heart of the issue if you want to. The Earth isn't curving, dude. I mean, I've been testing it all over the coast for like the last 3 weeks. There's no curvature anywhere. So
why do you think you would see curvature from actually with you being stood on the Earth? Why would you see curvature?
Because
the size of you to the size of the Earth, you're not going to see curvature.
That's inaccurate, bro, because it's geometry, right? So they didn't just claim the Earth's the magic spinning cartoon ball that defies physics and that you came from nothing. They actually claimed a specific size. They claimed dimensions. They claimed a radius value. They claimed a circumference value. Do you know what the claimed radius is?
About 3,900 miles, something along them.
Yeah, 3959. So based on that, which is of course the distance from the center to the edge, right? The circumference of a circle or a ball, right? Center to edge. So that's the maximum extension of the Earth's dimensions. So it has to curve at a certain rate. And that's 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So that means at 1 foot, the square root of 1 is 1. I should see the Earth curving from 1 foot off the ground at 1.2 miles away. Well, we have an observation off the coast of Cali, 1 foot off the ground, the horizon's over 10 miles away. So the radius value would have to be over 250,000 miles. They claim it's under 4,000. It's not even
because
close.
on the Earth, you obviously are aware that we do have a thing called refraction. So things can be refracted back up into view.
So you're saying that was a result of refraction?
Yes.
Okay.
And I take it do you not agree that refraction takes place?
No, refractions obviously takes place. That's the only reason that we have the phenomena.
So then I wouldn't use that as an argument for the globe, because depending on the globe or whether the Earth is actually flat, because refraction occurs. So some days you might only see 4 or 5 miles, some days you might see 9 miles, some days you might see less than that. It's going to vary each day depending on the conditions of the weather. So
welcome to flat Earth, bro.
So you can't use that as an argument for.
That's a flat Earth argument. You just made a flat Earth argument. See, this is the difference. I know that
I wouldn't use that as an argument for either.
But you're wrong, because I know that the horizon is just an apparent location where the sky appears to meet the ground. It's an optical effect based on observer height, atmospheric conditions, etc. It's not a real place. It constantly moves. It's an optical effect. But in your globe Earth religion, it has to be a real place. It's a tangible physical obstruction of convexity of terra firma, or Earth curvature. Totally different. You have a physical, tangible place that has to stay there based on the radius value. I know that the horizon constantly moves throughout the day.
So what you're saying is there must be a geometric horizon.
Yeah.
Yes, I will agree. There must be a geometric horizon. But
where's it at, bro?
It's not the horizon, but the distance is going to change depending on the atmospheric conditions.
Only on a flat Earth. Only on a flat Earth, though.
Why would that change only on a flat Earth and not on a globe Earth?
Because on a globe Earth, there's a physical, tangible location, a convexity rate of terra firma that does not change, right? So based on atmospheric conditions, right, you can have terrestrial refraction that brings it closer to you. It cannot extend it, and it cannot lift it up and bring it behind oil rigs 10 miles away, because looming, an optical effect that's resultant of refraction that we do know about and have quantified quite thoroughly, is actually relative to the horizon. It's an object relative to the horizon. The horizon cannot loom relative to the horizon. That is retarded. So like the main problem here is you're saying, yeah, there has to be a geometric horizon. We just never see it. Is that do we ever see the geometric horizon? Because if not, how do we know it's there, bro?
If we got rid of the atmosphere, yes, you would be able to. With it, if we lived on the planet with no atmosphere, yes, you would be able to see it.
Okay, but that's just
atmospheric refraction. It moves.
Okay, and if we were able to go fly at 3,000 meters without any intervention from a plane, Superman would come visit us. Like, it doesn't, dude, you're just telling me a story. If we had no atmosphere, you mean if we died? So we live on Earth with atmosphere, bro. And so you're just making your claim unfalsifiable, which goes against your atmospheric
refraction. So because we live on the Earth with an atmosphere, we do experience atmospheric refraction. Okay. So the apparent horizon that you're looking at is going to change depending on what the refraction rate is for that day.
Okay. It's called terrestrial refraction. If you're saying that the geometric horizon optically moved over 10 times too far,
the geometric horizon doesn't move. The apparent horizon that you're looking at moves.
Well, apparent horizon's redundant. That's all we ever see. You're claiming geometric horizon, but we never see it. So we're just supposed to believe you. And you're making your claim unfalsifiable. But you said in your own PowerPoint that science and any type of empirical claims must be falsifiable. But you just made your claim unfalsifiable.
How have I made it unfalsifiable?
You said if there's no atmosphere on Earth, you'd see it.
Yes, you would do. But
That's
because
making your claim
because we live on the Earth with an atmosphere, you're always going to experience, no matter what time of day it is, some sort of atmospheric refraction.
Welcome to flat Earth, bro. That's my point. We know that. But you claim there's a physical curve that we're spinning on. So, like, we're trying to get to that point. Where is the curve, dude? Like, is the horizon physical or is it just apparent?
To you as the observer, it will be apparent because depending on refraction.
Okay. So do you agree that if you're claiming that the horizon was extended back 10 times too far optically, then that would be terrestrial refraction, right?
Yeah, it isn't going to be a lot of refraction because 1 degree on the Earth is 90 to 16 nautical miles or 69 miles. So 1 degree of curvature is only 69 miles away. So to refract something up over the horizon of 9 miles is only a very small percentage of curvature. It's not even half a degree of curvature that you're looking over.
Degree, what does it matter? It's like plenty of feet that should be blocking your view.
It doesn't matter about it doesn't matter about the feet. It doesn't matter about the distance. It matters about how many degrees of that curvature is being brought back.
How do you determine degree? How do you determine 1 degree? Oh, you have to know the Earth's dimension. So you're presupposing what you're claiming to prove right now. Once again, I'm telling you, that's all this is, bro. Every single quote unquote evidence is a presupposition of the globe. All of it. I've been researching it for 5 years, bro.
Yes, I'm obviously my argument is always going to presuppose that the globe exists. Yes.
Well, that's stupid, man. Because like,
but if
that means you could be wrong.
If the globe does exist, if we do live on a globe, then 1 degree of refraction would actually, which isn't a lot, would be 69 miles. Now you're talking about this refraction that you've seen, which is 9 miles away. This oil rig that's 9 miles away, that has been refracted back up above the horizon so that you can see it. 9 miles in degrees, if we live on a globe Earth, is a fraction of a degree of refraction.
Okay, but all you did was reiterate your presupposition, bro. Like, what does that mean, man? Like, really be honest. You're just presupposing the model, telling me theoretically how it would work and how somehow we don't ever observe any physical empirical evidence of your physical empirical claims. You're claiming to empirically know and to physically know that the Earth's a ball with certain dimensions and a certain speed and within a certain type of fabric, yet you can't even substantiate that it's a curving surface. Like, I don't see how I'm on the unfounded position here. The only thing you have to rely on is NASA. The governments of the world. Like, that's all you have to rely on. When you fly your plane, you fly over a flat Earth, bro.
We believe that the Earth was a globe well before NASA came on the scene.
That's not true. Actually, a few decades before that was the first time it was even taught in the U.S. So it's like 100-year deception. Whenever you fly your plane, do you ever account for curvature?
No.
Do you ever account for Coriolis or Earth spin?
No.
Do you ever see the Earth curving?
No.
So you see why we need some empirical evidence, man. I can't believe NASA, man. They brought Nazis.
I don't see why. I don't know why you think we would actually see, or why I would see curvature. When I'm flying, I'm only flying at roughly about 4,000 feet. That's all I'm flying. Above this globe here, 4,000 feet above that globe is literally going to be virtually touching it. So I'm not going to see curvature. I'm going to be literally right down here. If you look at the height of the International Space Station, I think it's something like about 240 miles-ish.
252.
To what?
252.
Right, so it's 252 miles up. That is going to be about that high. If it was flying around the equator, that's how high it is off the equator.
That's super high, bro.
That's not super high.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Because if I go up off of a surface that's curving in any and all directions around me, omnidirectional, yeah, it's going down and away from me. As I go up, I would see it go down and away from me and physically obstruct my view. This can be replicated 1,000 different ways. But when it comes to this globe Earth that defies physics, brought to you by Jesuit priests, apparently everything changes and we don't see the Earth curving as we go up above a ball that bends down away from us. That makes no sense. We would objectively see.
You would need to be far away, a lot further away than that to see a distinct curve. I mean, I've never been up into the International Space Station. You might be able to see.
No one else has either, bro. You're not alone.
No one's been there, haven't they?
No, not at all. They have glitches and VRs and what, like, you know how many people have even claimed to go past low Earth orbit in the history of mankind? 24 people. Do you think that 24 people could lie?
Yes.
Of course, especially when they're compartmentalized on a need to know basis in the military, right? That's what the military does. It's called need to know. So
yeah, people could lie, and you're right. These people could be lying, but to get the rest of the world to lie along with them, there's not just the NASA as a space station. There's all these other space agencies. You've got Russia. They must know. They've sent people into space, so they must know what the shape of the Earth is.
Is it possible Russia's government lies?
Yes, but are they going to collaborate with the USA? What about China? They've got a space agency. They're all lying as well. So all these governments don't get along, but for some reason they're all deciding to lie over the shape of the Earth.
Well, they told you they didn't get along and that they all live on this magic spinning ball that defies physics, but they seem to all get along enough to say that we can't privately explore past the 60th south latitude. They seem to all put their differences aside for that.
You can go past there. You just can't turn up willy-nilly and just decide to turn up there. You can arrange a trip to go there. You
can't bring mechanical equipment, water supply, fuel supply. If you can be arrested without due process, they can search and seize any vessel. I'll send you the 2014 legislation from the U.S. You don't get due process. They can search and seize anything. If you try to warn someone that they're going to seize them, you can get arrested.
I've got it.
That's from 1950s, yeah?
No, that is from 2016.
Well, okay. Okay. Not the original NRA treaty. What about it?
I'm just saying, I've got the copy of it.
Oh, well, 2014, the U.S. legislation tells you that you can't go, bro, that they'll seize you. And my question is, dude, why? Because you do agree that if there's a ball, it'd be really easy to prove it, right? We just come up over the other end of the ball.
Is that actually written in the treaty then, is it?
No. What I said in a 2014 subsequent legislation. So it's like the U.S. just adds rules to it on throughout the years. And I can send it to you. But the NRA Treaty says, yes, this adheres to all land or water beyond 60th south latitude, including the ice shelves, and that you can be intercepted. And then they come with all kinds of nonsense reasons to save the penguins because no humans touched it. We could melt the ice because of global warming,
It's not to save the penguins. It's to basically, like I've said, Antarctica is one of the last untouched places on Earth, and we want to keep it that way.
So you think it's just a coincidence that the one thing that could definitively prove the Earth was a ball was circumnavigated north to south over a south pole, but we're not allowed to do it? You think it's just a coincidence that all of the world's nations have
according
conspired?
to that sailing race, they do go around it.
No, they are allowed to go on a predetermined approved route where they come down south and go back north. I know their route photographically. I've had this conversation so many times. They do not go over an ice cap on the bottom of the ball.
They don't go over it, they go around it.
They say they go around it and they go down south and go back up north, and you can see the literal route projected based relative to South America right above it. So that's what you have to see, the full map and where they go, not just a picture of an ice cap presupposing there's a ball with a circle drawn around it. That means nothing. They go down south and they come back up north. It's very provable. They release their route openly. So their own website shows you that they go south and back up north. So, dude, the thing is, man, the Earth has to be curving, bro. They say the Earth's 70% water. How is the water bending all over the Earth, but we never see it anywhere, bro? I don't get it.
That's gravity, but you don't agree with gravity.
Do you know why?
Go on. Why you don't agree with gravity? No, I don't know why you don't.
Yeah, well, the theory of relativity, which is what superseded 1915 Newtonian physics, right? It's just a reification fallacy. It's pseudoscience. It claims that space and time have physical properties of bending and warping and dilating, right? Those are physical properties. But space is a concept, conceptual privation. It's the idea of an area void of material. And then we attribute dimensions, descriptives, dimensions to it, which is also conceptual. And then we have time, the conceptual quantification of passing, derivative of the sky and its motion, and then the sun and the moon and their motions. So we've come up with numbers to quantify passing. Those are all concepts. Literally, those are both concepts, literally. So how can concepts have physical properties of bending and warping and dilating? They cannot. That's called a reification fallacy. So it's inadmissible on its face. So yeah, I don't believe in pseudoscience, bro.
Do you agree that if you drop something, it falls down?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
typically no, not a balloon.
What you just said.
Does
That's what I mean by gravity.
What if I drop a helium balloon?
Sorry.
What about when I drop a helium balloon?
Yeah, that will go up.
So then not everything goes
it's
down.
lighter than air.
Okay.
No, there's still gravity affecting it. The gravity will slow its ascent because of gravity, but it will still go up.
How can you say slowest descent unless you have a parameter or standard to compare it to its original speed, which you do not? This is just another baseless assertion. So not everything goes down, but yeah, things equilibrium, they're inherently electrostatic, and density is the primary causal agent. It has nothing to do with the magic fabric that bends and warps of concepts. So yeah, things go down, they seek equilibrium. It's natural law. Pressure mediation.
So if things go down because they're just seeking equal, well, I mean, if that's what you want to call why things go down, you call it that. I'll just call it gravity.
Well, it's not why. Why do things?
As long as we both experience the same experience, that's all that matters. What you call it is irrelevant.
Well, no, but see, gravity claims all this nonsense relative to the center of the pseudoscientific fairy tale ball, where people think that now they came from rocks and then they don't know the creator's real. So it's not just like whatever. We got to figure this out. So it's not adding up. Are you not seeing my point?
Not at all. No.
Okay. Let's do this. So if the Earth is actually a ball that spins around in a vacuum, and we have 14.7 psi at the surface, do you agree that there would have to be something that contains that pressure?
So to some extent, yes, something is holding that pressure there, yes.
Right. And you would say that's gravity, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to point out one of the millions of things wrong with gravity. I already told you very specifically what was wrong with it. It's a reification fallacy. It doesn't even hold intellectual viability. But so if I take gas out of a container and take off the top of it on the surface level, which is closest to the center of mass, which means gravity is the strongest there, and gas will seek equilibrium instantaneously, omnidirectional, infinite vectors, bam, everywhere, where gravity is the strongest. Am I supposed to believe that if I go hundreds of miles above the surface of the Earth, where gravity is way weaker because it's much further away from the center of mass, all of a sudden it's going to be able to prevent the natural law of seeking equilibrium of those gas particles, even though it's weaker, and didn't do it where it was stronger?
So how would you explain the fact that the higher you go, the less pressure we have?
Well, there is a plethora of potential answers there, but really what you just did is non sequitur, right? So that's a red herring, because you're asking about delta X and we're asking about X, the antecedent relationship of gas pressure, not like the quality of it, or more so the quantitative nature of it, right? But it doesn't matter. I can answer you. So the necessary antecedent to gas pressure is physical containment. So we have a physical container that has pressure. And then we have a dissipation of gas relative to many things. One of the primary things is that gas is constantly being cycled predominantly at the surface level, because we have almost really all vegetation on the surface, and humans and animals inhabit the surface. And so there's a cycle of gas, and it's constantly going at the surface level. You can actually replicate this with a vacuum chamber, putting it in gas at the bottom, they'll have a higher concentration. In addition, there's electrostatics. We'd have to actually know the nature of the firmament and its electromagnetic nature. And then we have the sun and the moon, which would play a factor. Then we have temperature changes. So heat transfer would actually affect the dissipation of gas as well. So really there's a variance, and really I could get more technical, right? Like what people spiral about this stuff, but there's an ether and it has a vortexual movement around it. And every single thing that we perceive in the material world is relative to that, and the pressure mediated from the center. So really falsification is independent of replacement, but I gave you plenty of speculations there, but I don't claim those definitively. That's what the globe earth does, just makes up fairy tales and claims they're reality. I don't know, sir, but I do know that what they claimed is impossible.
Right, I'll try and address that. If basically what you're saying is to have gas pressure, it must be in a container, correct?
Correct.
Basically pressing against all sides.
Yep.
I've got gas container.
Mm-hmm.
So the pressure in that is pushing on all the sides. Agreed? And that's what's giving that pressure.
That's correct.
If I was to release this, obviously this pressure would then shoot out into the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at the globe, or let's say the flat Earth, if there's a dome over the top of it, we, like you said, we experience atmospheric pressure on the Earth. If we live on a flat plane and we've got a dome over it, then the pressure at the bottom should be the same as the pressure on the top, just as the same as it is on here. Why would we have a pressure gradient? And also within that system, you must agree that we've got low pressure and high pressure weather systems. So you can have low pressure and high pressure alongside each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens? The low pressure system migrates to the high pressure system, or the high pressure system migrates to the low pressure
system.
Every single time. Every single time.
So why doesn't the high pressure then go up?
Because it's relative to the positioning of the low pressure system. So its directionality is relative to the low pressure system, where
because if you're arguing to have gas pressure it must be in a container so that the gas pressure is pushing on all sides of that container, causing the pressure.
That is the definition.
How does that work if you've got a pressure gradient where if you go higher and higher and higher, you get to almost zero pressure at the top and you still haven't touched the dome yet?
Okay. Yeah. So effectively what you get to do is not answer.
Even on your model, the pressure we've got at the surface must be coming from somewhere. Now, at the top of that pressure, it's not pushing against anything because there's virtually nothing there by the time you've got to this dome, if there is a dome there. What is causing that pressure?
Gradient or the pressure? Because the only way you can have pressure is with a container. We just covered that, man. It's the definition of it. And you just went. So basically, what you're doing right now.
Yes, but the higher you go, you've got less pressure.
Your hand wave
you've still got less pressure. The higher you go, you've still got less pressure.
But less pressure is still pressure, dude. It's still, you still have pressure. The question is, how do you have the pressure? What's the antecedent relationship of pressure? You're trying to skip over that hand wave, dismiss your own burden of proof, and then ask me a non sequitur about the gradient, right? Which is a qualitative relationship of the gas. But we're asking, how do you even have the gas pressure adjacent to a near perfect vacuum?
You was trying to match up the atmospheric pressure to the same pressure that's inside a container, but the models aren't both the same. If you've got gas pressure in a container, you've got equal pressure throughout the whole of that container. But what we experience on the Earth, within the atmosphere, we've got different pressures depending on altitude and also depending on weather conditions. That doesn't match the container pressures that you originally talked about. The two don't match.
Okay, so basically what you're trying to say is that it would all equalize if the Earth was contained. Once again, and I think this may be the dead end here, I'll reiterate it. Your hand wave just missing your burden of proof, which is the necessary antecedent to gas pressure. You claim that that there's a gas pressure system adjacent to a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. Of course, we can't even replicate that on Earth. You have the burden of proof.
No, it's a gradient. It's not a pressure system next to a vacuum. What you've got is a pressure gradient which gets less and less and less the higher you go until you get to almost a perfect vacuum.
Okay, what gradient?
High pressure next to a vacuum.
A what gradient? What type of gradient?
A pressure gradient.
Where did you get the pressure, man? What's the antecedent to pressure?
It gets less and less and less as you go up until you get to almost a perfect vacuum, and you still haven't reached that dome yet. So what is that pressure below that pushing on? You're saying to have gas pressure, it must be in a container which is pushing on all the sides. We do not experience that on Earth. Even if there is a dome, let's say there is a dome over the top of us, that top part of that dome is not creating the pressure below us, because the higher you go, that pressure gets less and less. So that dome's not doing anything at the top. You could open the dome at the top, and that gas pressure, atmospheric pressure, would not rush out.
How do you know what's going on at the top, man? You're just saying things. We can't go that high. Do you believe Nat? Am I supposed to believe NASA for your point again, bro? Like we can't go 252 miles where they claim all these readings of damn near no pressure, but it doesn't really matter because there's still pressure. And so you're still whistling past the graveyard.
You must have seen the Mage flight that was done by Mr. Sensible, where he sent up a weather balloon with the cameras on, and which was also reading barometric pressure, which got to almost zero pressure. I can't remember.
Almost?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't help you.
Even space isn't zero. If they don't claim that space is a perfect vacuum, so there's still some pressure in space.
There's no such thing as a perfect vacuum. It's conceptual because there's at least a few hydrogen atoms per cubic meter in your fairy tale. But that means nothing. That's not my point.
All it is just a pressure gradient just going further and further up.
The differential is drastic, sir. It's called entropy. Entropy will increase. It's a natural law. You're making a claim antithetical to natural law. You can't even provide empirical, practical demonstration on the Earth that I can go verify could even possibly happen. And then you're telling me, no, I don't have to answer how we have the pressure because we have a gradient. And if you can't answer exactly how we have it, even though we won't let you go up there and try to figure out what's up there for yourself because we control you.
I've answered why. I've answered why you just won't accept it. What the reason? The container is gravity.
Okay, and then I asked you. The container
is gravity. Okay, and with your model, right? You're saying that we have a container over the top of us. You've still got the same problem, that you've got different pressures next to each other. You've got high pressure at the bottom, and at the top of Mount Everest, you've got less pressure. Why isn't the higher pressure at the bottom rushing to the top of Mount Everest?
Well, once again, there's a plethora of reasons, predominantly electromagnetic phenomena within the vortexual movement of an
which basically that's just your word for gravity. That is just what you call gravity.
No, I don't claim that concept.
I call it gravity. You call it whatever you've just said.
No, because gravity claims that everything's relative to the center of mass of a magic pseudoscientific fairy tale ball that defies physics. I don't claim any of that nonsense. I don't have relative to center of mass. There's no pulling phenomena. It's none of that nonsense. Everything's inherently electrostatic, establishes equilibrium. Density is the primary causal agent. And if you don't have empirical evidence outside of that, you're just making claims. And so I asked you a question about
because you've got no evidence for that. What you just said, you've got no evidence for that.
I have all empirical evidence that everything that exists is electrostatic until you can provide one thing that cannot transfer electrostatic charge.
So what you're saying is due to the fact that everything is as electrostatic, it's attracted to each other. Them two masses.
No. Electrostatics don't like solely attract. So
you're gonna have to educate me on this one because I've not heard this one before. How does the electrostatic model that you've just said work?
Yeah, it's just simple. Like the Earth's the dielectric plane, which is an electromagnetic field, which is the toroid, and the dielectric plane is where we live, right? And that's the only place that could sustain life. Everything's inherently electrostatic, more specifically dielectric. If you take a balloon, rub it on your head, stick it to the wall, it sticks there, right? So gravity is nowhere to be found, just like when butterflies fly away and bees fly through 50-mile-per-hour crosswind. Then eventually, the balloon loses its charge. It finds its equilibrium back on the dielectric plane. So this is what we can empirically validate. You're making additional claims, but you can't negate for electrostatics, which is known to be 10 to the 39th power stronger than even the claim of gravity. So you can't even isolate electrostatics.
So what you've just said there then is if I was to get electrostatically charged, then would I weigh less?
Would you weigh less?
So if you just said if you rub a balloon on your head, it becomes electrostatically charged, so it will stick to something. So if I become electrostatically charged, will I start sticking to something?
Well, you'd have to define weight. And yeah, you could effectively levitate using magnetic levitation or quantum locking, which is inherently electrostatics. And this is provable also, magnetic levitation. Yeah. But you have to define weight. They say weight is mass time gravity, which is just mass is a reification of gravity quantifying matter. And gravity is again a reification fallacy. But weight's actually relative to vector, medium, coherency. It's not just a distance. It's not relative to just two masses, which is just a fairy tale reifying gravity. So you have to define these terms, and weight is misdefined. But like my question still remains, bro. Like, am I missing something? If I take open a container of gas, dude, it's going to fill the available space at the surface where gravity is the strongest because it's closest to center of mass. How can that not happen where it's weaker?
You just said there, gravity.
I'm from your worldview. Like from your worldview, gravity is the strongest, closest to center of mass because gravity is relative to center of mass, right? Actually, there's a gravity well that bends and warps and dilates relative to the center of mass that spins around, and then it creates a gravity well, and then everything basically falls down in towards the center of mass, free falling around it. That's what your religion says. And so if gravity is the strongest, closest to center of mass, and I let gas out at the surface closest to the center of mass that is attainable or accessible, and gravity doesn't do anything to the gas, it goes everywhere immediately like it always does. How could it stop it from doing that where it's way weaker, way higher above the earth? That makes no sense.
I didn't follow any of that, to be perfectly honest.
Fair enough. The gravity strongest at the surface, it doesn't stop gas from filling available space. It couldn't do it way higher where it's weaker. It's a pseudoscientific fairy tale in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. So just is what it is. I need empirical evidence, bro. I don't believe the government. They admit they lie to us, bro. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. You ask me, why would everyone lie? Why, like, all these people have to lie. Almost no one's lying, bro. Like the teachers don't believe, they believe the lie. They're not lying to children, bro. Like I don't have any beef with those people, but I don't have to like just blindly believe NASA because everyone else does. Like everyone used to think slavery was cool, bro. Like a built majority is stupid, right? We need empirical evidence. The government sucks. They lie all the time. People are wearing masks scared of air right now. So we know we need to regain a little bit of intellectual responsibility as people, I think, before it's too late.
Yeah, the problem is though, you don't actually have a flat Earth model.
You're right, and then because it would be intellectually
the flat Earth model. Once you start believing in the flat Earth, you'll go down all the different rabbit holes that you basically said there. You then stop believing in gravity. Gravity doesn't exist. You don't believe that we went to space. That's all a lie. You don't believe. Yeah. I don't know how you're going to make navigational work because you've got no navigational aid. Because on the navigating with the charts that we've got now, they do not fit with a flat model. They only, again, back to the same point. They only fit with a globe. They only fit with a globe.
You keep saying that.
How you make that fit your model?
But sir, if you rewatch the debate, I told you how. So navigation using celestial charts has happened for thousands of years. They use Cartesian coordinates, X and Z axis relative to the origination in the center. You add a Z axis, assuming sphericity, then you take the points of longitude and latitude derivative of the cyclical nature of the sky, which they've been using for thousands of years before assuming the earth was a ball. And then you reverse engineer a theoretical model with the Z axis based on the movement of the sky. Then, touting the efficacy of the reverse engineered model is lunacy.
You could design a navigational charts that would work on that model that you've just said. I totally agree, but there would have to be different charts to what we've got now, because like I've just explained here, the longitudinal lines get narrower the further south you go, and they get narrower the further north you go. Yeah. And that would not work on a flat plane. It will not work. You'll get distortion.
Wait. So you would have to go all the way to the south to verify your claim you just made, right? Or all the way to the north. Oh, too bad you can't legally do either of those. So, bro, it's simple, man. Like you're telling me the right story.
You're saying we can't
but
go
I've
all the way
already
to the north
researched
now.
The stories. They're not true, sir. They're dumb. They're dumb. They're lies. They lie.
I've not heard that one before, though. So we can't go north now as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not very easy to go to the North Pole. You can't fly within 500 miles of each direction. You can't just fly over the North Pole. You can't just go there. I'm actually the kind of person that wants to know the truth, right? So I was wanting to go. But you are looking into Greenland, bro. It's not like you can just waltz up in Greenland. That's not how it works at all. And you can't get to the North Pole, bro. You can't just show up there. But now you can go Google and see some composited bodies of water, and that must mean there's nothing there. And it's too dangerous. I can climb Mount Everest, bro. I can climb Mount Everest. You think the government's trying to save me? I can climb Mount Everest, bro. But they won't let me go explore the world that they're not lying about. That makes no sense.
I had a friend that went to Greenland 2 years ago.
Yeah, but did he go all the way through Greenland, all the way up to the north, and then head to the North Pole? Of course not. No one does.
No.
I mean, we've been lied to about the Earth, sir. Like, I didn't lie. You didn't lie, right? Like, we're on the same team. So I'm just going out there. I mean, I had to lose a good job offer just to tell people the Earth's flat, bro. Like, trust me, I have no motivation to do this. It's just the truth. And it changes everything, man. The Earth is the center of everything. So it had to be put here, which means you were put here, which means you're special and there's a creator. So that's why I do this. And I need empirical evidence. I need empirical evidence to throw out all observable phenomena accessible to mankind, because
you don't seem to have any evidence to back up what you're saying. I
have all evidence.
All evidence that is presented to you. You just will not accept any of it.
No. Okay. How about this? Does water find its level?
Yes.
Does it always find its level?
Yes.
Okay, so water always finds its level. Does water conform to its container?
Yes.
Okay, so water always conforms to its container and finds its level, but yet level means curved in this one scenario, that is the Earth being a ball, 70% of the surface is covered in water. It bends convexly, adhering to the exterior of a spinning object in a vacuum. We can't show you that it could happen, but I promise.
Water conforms to the shape of the Earth and its level to the Earth.
Wait, how is this level?
Level doesn't necessarily mean straight.
So level doesn't mean level?
No, it doesn't necessarily mean straight. It can be level. Right. If you've got
equal
something
height.
that goes around this globe, it can be level all the way around.
No, that's wrong, sir. Level means equal height.
From the surface, yes.
Yeah, level. So
if it's on a globe, it would be equal height around that globe.
So the globe has its own definition of level. You see a reoccurring theme here. We have to keep making exceptions for the globe Earth. That's weird. Because when I built a house, whenever I was working construction and building decks and helping with construction, and we used a level, we didn't bend it, dude. We didn't say, oh, well, if it's curved, it's still level, because the house wouldn't work, bro. We wouldn't have elevations without assuming that the Earth is flat, because we use sea level, assuming a horizontal level, and then we take the distance above and the altitude above the sea level to get elevation. We wouldn't even have elevation. So literally all evidence says the Earth's flat. I have all the evidence, all of it. So I need some empirical evidence to suggest antithetical claims. You're not just saying like, oh yeah, I know it doesn't feel like it's moving, but here's how it is. No, you're just making claims.
Why would it feel like we're moving? The only time you experience movement is the up and down, left to right, or acceleration or de-acceleration inside a vehicle. If you've got a completely smooth ride and you are traveling at a constant velocity, why would you feel movement?
Is that in a closed system? Yeah, So if you're in a closed system in a car, that's cool. Take the top off a convertible, you're going to feel your movement. Also, you have something called semicircular canals in your vestibular system, which is in your ears, which help you establish equilibrium and spatial awareness and reasoning, right? And that these detect the most minute change in angular motion. So if you tilt your head that way, that's your semicircular canals that detect motion. They're very, very sensitive. And literally, you would die without your ability to utilize your vestibular system. You would have no spatial awareness. You would actually go insane and die eventually.
They actually sense change in movement or change in direction. They wouldn't sense a constant velocity.
No, angular.
That's why when you're sat in a train or in a car or in an aeroplane, you don't get the sense of moving forward, especially in an aeroplane if you're traveling at 300-400 miles an hour.
That's a closed system.
The sense of moving at that speed.
That's a closed system.
If the aeroplane or the vehicle you're in changes direction, slows down or accelerates, that's what you will feel.
You mean like an elliptical orbit they claim that the Earth's on? Because the change of direction, you'd feel the bank, but that's not analogous when you bring up a plane. That's a closed system.
But it's a gradual bank. It's not something that happens.
Change of direction.
It's like going round and roundabout in a car.
What's gradual about bank?
Traveling orbiting the sun, that takes a year to make that journey. It's a year to do that journey.
It doesn't take a year to change direction, though.
No, but that direction changes within that year.
No, it happens instantly. There's an elliptical orbit. The direction changes.
It doesn't change direction instantly, no.
As soon as you turn on the elliptical orbit, your direction has changed.
No, it's not doing. It's not turning 90 degrees to the left or anything like that.
No, I know it's turning. It doesn't matter.
In a massive.
That right there, you would feel it.
No,
and do you agree that a plane isn't analogous because it's a closed system and they claim that the Earth's in a vacuum?
Right. So yeah, the aeroplane is a closed system, so you don't feel it. Us on the Earth, everything on the Earth is all moving at the same speed, so you're still not going to feel it.
Okay, so you're just once again making.
And when you get out into space, you've got nothing out there. It's not like there's wind in space. It's going to be blowing into the Earth as it's traveling along. There's nothing out there, so it's moving through.
There's nothing out there. What is that even? There's nothing out there, sir? What are you talking?
As in the way you were saying there, that if you took the top off a car, you're going to feel the wind blowing into you. Obviously, out in space, you don't have that.
But we're on Earth. I'm talking about feeling movement on Earth. So if we're spinning and revolving and shooting through space and the galaxy's shooting, right? We would feel it. They say that there's a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr around us, bro. We're in an open system that's spinning.
Speed. You're traveling at a constant speed, so you aren't going to feel the movement.
I thought the speed occasionally changed.
Sorry?
Oh, I don't know. NASA changed their pseudoscience. You should keep up. Apparently, there's a differential in speed over the time, but it doesn't really matter. It's just made up pseudoscience.
Yes, yes. Oh, yeah. The Earth's orbit around the sun is something like 67,000 miles, but at certain points it's something like 64,000 miles. There's 3,000 or 4,000 mile difference. Yep. Which is done
they gave themselves a window of error because they're making up stories.
Which is done over a year. That change of velocity is over a period of a year. It's not like you're going to change velocity 3,000 miles in a 24-hour period.
No, I said change of direction.
No.
You would feel the bank. Dude, pilots got to be careful on Earth, dude.
It's constantly in that bank. It's orbiting all the time. All right, it's elliptical, so there's a slight it's an elliptic orbit, but it's still a constant journey you're traveling on over a year. You are changing over a year.
You have a change of direction, sir. So anyway, I'm just saying, dude, we don't feel any motion. You claim that we do. We don't observe any curvature.
No, I didn't
claim it's there.
Motion. I said
no. I'm sorry. You're right. We don't feel any motion, but you claim it's there. We don't observe any curvature, but you claim it's there. We just never see it. So do you see how that I am not really inclined to just blindly believe you, because your worldview is literally coming from the authoritative figures that have already lied to us about pretty much everything else? I need empirical evidence. Dude, when I open a soda, I debunk the heliocentric model. Literally, as soon as I open it and it goes, shh, bye-bye heliocentric model. The pressure always mediates, always, bro. So if you can't answer the antecedent relation,
the atmosphere. Except in the atmosphere, which you've already agreed to.
So the globe Earth makes all the exceptions.
The atmosphere is less than it is at the top.
You know that natural laws don't have exceptions, right? So
okay.
There is no except for when we're talking about natural law. That's why it's a natural law, bro. So, natural law, the second law debunks the heliocentric model, man. Like, I don't know exactly what the Earth is. I don't claim a model. A lot of people that are talking crazy in the chat, like always, oh, there's stupid flat earther. Here we go with no model. Yeah, it's called being intellectually honest. I don't know what the earth is. We can't privately explore it. We can't even privately explore the highest altitudes to see where the firmament is or what the dome is or what the true land masses are. That is irrelevant. Falsifications independent of replacement. They're lying to us, taking $60 million a day and lying to children, and they're telling everyone the air is going to kill them, and the government's trying to take over. So it's time that we wake up and realize that there's a creator and that the earth was made for you. And, maybe people don't want to accept it. I don't care. But this is just getting kind of ridiculous. Like, the only evidence is that the globe earth makes exceptions to every natural law and NASA proved it and we have to trust them. Like, you got to be honest. That's kind of preposterous that I would ever do that.
And to be honest, I don't think you would accept any evidence that was given to you.
It would have to be empirical and verifiable, sir.
You would accept any evidence for the.
I would accept it. Dude, I'd be able to go get a 6-figure job, bro. I would love to. A lot
about this earth that we live on that you don't know the shape of it. You seem to know a lot about that earth.
I know what shape it isn't. It's not a globe with a convexity rate consistent with the radius value of 3,959. I know that for a fact. It's not. It's literally not a debate. We debunked the radius value, literally. So basically, what you're now saying is, I have a model that was made for me through thousands of years of updating it with reverse engineering and presuppositions. It was made for me. It was given to me with all these fake answers. So until you can replace all my answers, somehow my answers are still true, even though you falsified them. That's lunacy. Like, falsifications independent of replacement, man. I got to be intellectually honest here, because if I'm not, and if we are not moving forward from here on out, we're going to get in the same mess that got us here. Blindly believing things, not trying to test them or verify them, and standing upon empirical means. So I honestly, I'm trapped here if I want to be intellectually honest. I'm not going to make up stories. It doesn't matter. Falsifications independent of replacement.
Yeah, but your denial of the globe Earth actually opens up more questions to you and sends you down more rabbit holes that you've got to believe. If you believe that the Earth is flat, you've got to believe that gravity isn't real. If you believe the Earth is flat, you've got to believe we didn't go to space. If you believe the Earth is flat, you've got to believe that the space station.
Wait, can I pause you real fast? No, sir, you're saying it wrong. If you believe the Earth's a globe, you have to believe gravity's real, because it explains omnidirectionality if you're on a ball and everyone's not falling off of it. So the only reason gravity is even a thing or proposed.
Why would you fall off a ball? If gravity exists and you're on a ball, why would you fall off it?
No. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you believe in a globe is the only reason that gravity is a thing, to explain omnidirectionality around the globe, or else you would fall off. So gravity was proposed to explain the theoretical postulation of the globe. There's not actual empirical evidence. Someone didn't go find gravity and bottle it up, bro. No one manipulated gravity and verified it. You can't even negate electrostatics, which is 10 to the 39th power stronger than that. How could you isolate gravity if electrostatics is way stronger and still there? But they said gravity's there because the Earth couldn't be a ball without gravity. So what you just said was the opposite of the truth. It's not, if I'm a flat earther, I can't believe in gravity. It's, since you're a globe earther, you have to believe in gravity with no empirical evidence, and helium balloons debunk it. So you see the issue here. We're not on the same wavelength. Like,
no, we're definitely not.
Your position takes blind faith, sir. I don't. So
no, I don't. It doesn't take blind faith. I mean, like I say, one of my main points for it is the navigational charts, which work and they model what the globe is. And I think that's a problem for you, and you haven't really addressed it.
Yeah, well, I have navigational charts, use Cartesian coordinates, X and Y. You presuppose Z with sphericity assumption. But I will say,
you're just coming out with a lot of word salad there. If
word salad means that what I said doesn't.
If navigational charts have longitude and latitude lines on them, and them lines are exactly what is on the globe, and you lay them all flat, and it gives you a star shape, but that star shape can be formed into a globe. Surely the only conclusion you can have is that is the shape of the Earth that we're on.
Oh, so I should throw out the thousands of observations where we see way too far, and we have over a mile of missing curvature of the top of a mountain, and we have a radius value that would be over a quarter million miles.
But you've already agreed that refraction exists, so that distance will change all the time. You've already admitted.
No. I admitted that refraction exists, and that's the only way that we have the phenomenon called the horizon. I never in any way admitted that terrestrial refraction could lift and extend a horizon, because it literally can't. And the subject matter expert agrees with me.
But you agree that refraction will alter the distance you can see. You agree?
But not on a globe Earth.
Why wouldn't it work on a globe Earth?
Because there would be a physical obstruction that is resulting in you not being able to.
But you understand that something can be refracted over that.
So you're saying that basically the curve gets bent down straight with refraction, and then gets lifted up and brought back over there. So it's simultaneously in two locations via refraction, and it flattens out, then lifts up, and then goes back. But this can't happen according to the subject matter expert. So I don't see where you're getting this information, bro. It's called terrestrial refraction, right? You have to use 7/6R, which begs the question of the R
Looks
value.
like that.
You're showing me a cartoon. What is that? That's the best we have to prove the Earth's a globe is a literal cartoon?
No, it's just explaining how refraction works.
Okay. Sorry.
You've already agreed that refraction happens.
Yeah, welcome to flat Earth, man. Like, refraction happens. Refraction proves the Earth is flat. The horizon debunks the globe Earth. So yeah, refraction. That's welcome to flat Earth. When you say refraction back, you conceded the argument because you're invoking terrestrial refraction, which uses 7/6R, which is a begging the question fallacy, which is the very dimensions, right? The R value, that's in contention. I'm contending the R value, then you beg terrestrial refraction, begging the R value. That's insane. And it's a category error. It's stupid.
How is refraction working then? So if you're looking at something that is I don't know, 10 miles away, and the next day you cannot see that distance, what has happened to bring that object close or into view? What has happened to bring that object into view?
When you can see further the next day, like you just have more. It's really simple. When it's clear outside, you can see further. But the globe earthers want you to think that when it's clear outside, you can't see as far. Everything's backwards. I don't believe in stupid fairy tales brought to me by Jesuits. They hate us. So, I mean, we covered the three basics, man. I've gotten no new evidence. So if we don't have evidence of the Earth actually curving that we consistently measure to provably verify and or falsify the R value, then it's not even a real postulation, but we did falsify it. So I'm still waiting on the Glober to come bring some verifiable information that there's a curvature anywhere.
Can I just share my screen again, James? Right, can you see the folder that I've just brought up? Right. Right, that's the picture that you're talking about, aren't you, with the platform?
Yep.
If you look at the platform on the left, obviously you can see all this curvature that's going on with the cranes. They're not straight, they're bent. That's caused by refraction, yeah?
Yeah, but the argument has nothing to do with the oil rigs, so.
It's what?
The argument has nothing to do with the oil rigs.
No, but what I'm saying is this image here is showing that refraction is taking place.
Yeah, no one ever disputed that refraction was taking place, though.
Right. So that picture there, if I close that one, that is the same oil rig.
Okay. Yeah, because refraction changes the optical appearance, which is redundant, of the apparent location of the horizon. Welcome to flat Earth. So how does this prove the Earth's a ball?
So is that oil rig now not behind that the horizon?
Yeah, these are different atmospheric conditions, and the horizon appears to be closer in this picture.
Which is why you can't use these as arguments for it being flat. Or
unfortunately, we can, because that's where you're wrong.
For the globe, then
that's where you're wrong, sir.
Argument.
We're not claiming a physical location with the horizon. We're claiming the opposite of that. We know that it isn't a physical location. We when it moves, that's what we're claiming it does. Like every time it moves, that just adds to our argument. Our claim is that it is not a physical location. It's just apparent, just optical, and it just changes based on the atmosphere, bro. And that's provable. We've been looking at it every day for weeks now. But whenever we ask for where the curvature is, there's nowhere to be found, but it has to be there. It has to be physical location. So when you told me that the horizon moved, welcome to flat Earth again, bro. Like that's my argument.
The explanation for the horizon moving is due to atmospheric conditions. So you're talking about the actual physical horizon that is there, but
that we never see,
which you aren't going to see, because every day you're going to have different atmospheric conditions, which will all bring that horizon either closer or further away, depending on what the atmospheric conditions are.
Okay, so bro,
it's going to move. So you're never going to experience the actual geometric curve. Horizon. You're not going to experience that. due to atmospheric conditions. It's going to change on a daily basis and depend on weather conditions.
Can I ask you a question? If we never see it, then how do we know it's there?
Because it's where it would be if you could take away the atmospheric refraction. That's where it would be.
It's where it would be. How do you know that if you've never seen it?
Obviously, on the globe model, they can predict where it would be.
But how can they predict that if they've never seen it?
Because they know the size of the Earth and they could work out where it would be.
How do they know the size of the Earth if they've never seen the curvature to reverse engineer the size claim?
You don't need to see the curve to know that you're living on a globe.
Okay, do you know how your globe Earth model got its radius value?
See the curve.
Do you know how your model...
That's on the surface of the Earth. Like, look at the globes that you've got behind you. Look at how big the UK is, and then imagine how big a person is stood on top of that.
All this is disproportionate pseudoscientific nonsense, sir. We're just signing these and talking about how stupid it is and selling them for the Clown World Tour.
It's disproportionate, but it fits exactly with navigational charts. Exactly.
No, it doesn't. It's disproportionate and admitted so.
All these lines marry up with that.
Okay. So, I mean, I think we might be at a standstill here. You're not addressing any of the questions, man. You're literally not. So, the horizon is not an actual location. It's an apparent location that constantly fluctuates based on atmospheric conditions and observer height. But the globe Earth claims a physical obstruction that would be necessitated of geometrically based on the radius value claim. We have debunked that. We need empirical evidence. It doesn't exist. They lied about the Earth. It's no big deal. It's 2021. We have a lot of stuff going on. Get ready for aliens. I mean, guys, let's just wake up. The Earth's flat. Not a big deal. So unless you got something else you want to talk about, bro, I'm pretty ready to wrap up.
I mean, no, basically, I don't. The only thing that I originally came to talk about was the navigational charts. That's my main bit.
My rebuttal is Cartesian coordinates.
Is what? Sorry.
Cartesian coordinates within it. So the difference, we have the same exact thing, only your version has a z-axis down the middle of it, assuming the Earth's a ball. So that's all there is to it, bro.
Juicy.
But these work.
Yeah. Flat maps are the only type that exist.
And they fit with the globe. They correspond with the globe.
Hey, bro, if the Earth actually was flat, would you want to know?
If it was actually flat, would I want to know? Yeah, of course I would.
Check it out, man. Look into it without bias, and if you actually want to know, because it's provably flat. So
very juicy.
There you go.
Right. Yeah.
We are going to jump into the Q&A. We appreciate your questions, folks. I also want to say, I had reached out to somebody recently, a person who used to host a fellow debate channel, and I said, has anyone seen Debbie Duran? We are looking for Debbie. If anybody can help us connect with Debbie via email, let me know. We are at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. And so we've been trying to track her down and hopefully to get her on for a debate. So please let us know if you happen to have a connection with her. And these questions, we appreciate all of your questions. And let's see, I don't know what Austin's doing. But thank you very much for your questions. So 2 seconds, just loading it up here. Chris Gammon, appreciate your question. Chris says, I asked this before, but I have seen video and photos of a round Earth. Lots of them. How many hundreds or thousands of people does it take to produce all this media? Come on, man.
Well, as early as like the 70s, the CIA declassified and admitted that they actually infiltrated and run the media. It's called Operation Mockingbird, and 6 corporations own all of the media. And NASA admits that the most infamous picture of the globe Earth ever, the blue marble, was just a cartoon. So there's really not much there to answer. Pictures mean nothing, and the Earth shows us a very different story.
Very juicy. And thanks so much for your question. This one coming in from, and I want to say thanks everybody for your questions. This one from Evan Stein says, if flat Earth is true, the Christian God is fake. No omnipotent deity would allow his handiwork to be so readily hidden and misrepresented for so long.
Well, that's crazy that some dude on YouTube seems to have better understanding than the creator of all things that made him and his cognitive ability, which is very limited to anything outside of time and physical confinement. So there you go. Yeah, things happen because there's free will. There are people with evil intentions, typically derivative of a nihilistic, materialistic worldview, and they think they have a bunch of power and juice on the earth, but little do they know they lose in the end, and they're on the wrong end of things. So yeah, the creator is very real, and this is a deception that's only taken really a stronghold over the last 100 years.
Gotcha. And thanks so much for your question. This one coming in from our dearest friend, Truth Nerds, who says, coordinate transforms still don't move a point. Or coordinate transforms still don't move a point.
I'm not sure even what she's trying to convey there, but Cartesian coordinates have been around for thousands of years, man. So you just assume a z-axis and map it out on a theoretical ball means nothing. The use case is the same. In fact, it only works on a flat map projection. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Gotcha. And this one coming in from Magellan says, navigators work by latitude, longitude coordinates, not XY coordinates. That's reality, Witsit.
Yeah, well, Cartesian coordinates utilizing X and Y is where you get longitude and latitude derivative within that and derivative of the sky. So that's reality. It comes from the cycle of the sky. That's what longitude and latitude is.
Gotcha. And Elijah Freeman says, here to support Witsit, proponent invoked reification and affirming the consequent formal logical fallacies in his beginning statement. I'm confused. Just because they say they're here to support you, but then they're
I think he's calling out. He's saying that he did that, maybe, right? Like that his opening had fallacies in it, which
I see. I think they meant opponent instead of proponent. So I think yes. I think they're coming at you, Paul. They didn't name specifically what the fallacies were, though. So we will go to the next one. Magellan says all flat maps are projections. Witsit and therefore will be distorted. The globe itself is not distorted.
Yeah,
that's patently false. The globe
distortions.
Yeah, the globe is distorted. So sorry you spent money to say that.
Mike Arroyo, appreciate your question. Said, question for Witsit: if the world is flat, why do planes not fly in straight lines going from any direction on the planet from point A to point B?
Well, first of all, there's no planet, and yeah, planes literally do fly from point A to point B all the time. They assume a flat, non-rotating surface with a horizontal horizon in front of them to keep their level relative to their artificial horizon. So if you're asking about plane trajectories, yeah, I don't know why they go way out of their way all the time on the globe Earth, but then you look at it on a flat projection and it goes in a perfectly straight line. So to try to claim that flight paths prove the Earth's a globe means you're just being disingenuous or you haven't researched it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I might be able to hopefully answer that one. I think I know what the question was. What they're saying is when you look on a map, instead of going from point A to point B in a straight line on the map, it will have a curve on it. That's when you're doing long distance flights. You use, I believe, I don't need to use this because I don't fly that distance. I think it's the Haversine method. And what that does, that gives you the curvature. So on a flat map, it will look like you are traveling in an arch to get from A to B. But when you look at that arch and you actually if you married that back to the globe, it would be straight on the globe.
Yeah, so because the curve is derivative of the presupposition of the globe. So that's dumb. Yeah.
Gotcha. This one coming in from, appreciate your question. Magellan asks, brain snip, stop it with the big words. You are using them all wrong and sound like a wannabe. You aren't intellectual. You are a fool. Jeez.
Sorry, the vocabulary made you spiral. What a weirdo.
Who's brain snip? Is that, how do you know that who they're referring to? I don't know what that means.
That's just, they're saying that I use too big of words, word salad, that I'm not saying.
I must admit, Witsit, you do use a lot of word salad that makes it almost impossible to understand what you're saying.
That's not true. I talk to people that are very bright with all kinds of credentials all the time. They understand everything that I say. In order for
I'm sure that in a normal conversation that you're having on a day-to-day basis with somebody, you don't talk to them like that.
No, but I have to make my point very specific.
I hate to interrupt. But somebody I'm guessing you have talked to recently, Witsit, the rumor is that you are traveling in a flat Earth team around the United States right now with someone that we happen to know of at this channel. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
if he's there, but
Yeah.
we
I'll get him to come in here.
Jay Mixon, thanks for your question, said, Witsit, what would be your response to an astronaut who has been on a space exploration mission and confirms the Earth is spherical?
I would ask him, what are the mental side effects long term of MK Ultra?
Gotcha. And P. Barnes says, Witsit, if Polaris has never moved, why does half the world never see it? Do you have a credible citation that it has never moved?
Yeah, the megalithic structures all around the world still line up with Lars. Still lines up with the Georgia Guidestones. We debunked the model the other day. There's the homie.
Love you guys, dude. Support what you like or goes away. James, you're doing a great job.
My goodness, there he is. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. This one coming in from P. Barnes says, oh, we have that one. Titanicus Andronicus. Thank you for your question. Said, what does Witsit think about the Velociraptor Earth model?
I don't know. Dinosaurs are pseudoscience. Although I will say, it does appear that maybe things were bigger and lived longer and suffered from atrophy, and they told you evolution, which is inverse, which they always do. But I don't even know what that means, obviously. I don't know if that's a troll question.
Juicy. And B-Ball for Life, thanks for your question. Said, Witsit, exactly how have you measured the non-curvature you claimed in the last 2 weeks? What tools and methods did you use?
Yeah, you just make long distance observations. Like we have a P1000, so the strongest zoom commercially available to people. That would probably be a good start. We make long distance observations all the time that debunk the globe Earth. I don't know what's confusing about that. We also made a time lapse around centralized to Polaris and the Georgia Guidestones, and the efficacy of the Georgia Guidestones debunks the heliocentric model. So we do all kinds of things. It's just about, if you want to go test it for yourself, you can go look at a long body of water yourself too, bro.
Gotcha. And this question coming in from B-Ball for Life, appreciate it, said, Witsit, actually got that one. Chris Gammon, appreciate yours, said, Witsit, I wish I could afford to launch you into space safely. And if you personally witnessed the globe from space, would you change your mind?
Yeah, as long as I didn't have to eat or drink anything that they gave me for like a week beforehand or something, because they try to drug me and tell me I went there. But yeah, I'm not scared of death because the creator's real and his name's Jah, not God. So yeah, I would go. I'm not scared of that, but that can't happen. So the medium they claim you're going to defies natural law. We did see the SpaceX launch though, James. I don't know if you knew that, but we watched the SpaceX launch the other day and it was pretty funny. We flash smacked the whole crowd live as it launched. People were spiraling.
That is very juicy. And we also, let's see, appreciate your question. Mike Billar says, Witsit, how does an equatorial mount telescope work on a flat Earth? Don't hurt yourself trying to think through it.
Okay, well, good thing it's super easy to understand that. So I won't have to worry about any pain here. But it follows the stars through the sky, then it tracks it to the horizon. Then with the presupposition and the engineering of the mount, it assumes it's a ball. So what it does is just continue to go down towards the ground until it falls back up to where the star is visible above the horizon again. That doesn't prove the Earth's a ball. It just proves you engineer with the presupposition of sphericity. It's stupid. You're tracking the star to the horizon where it's no longer visible because it reaches its perception limit.
Gotcha. And this one coming in from Andy M says, Austin, do you think that if you repeat enough times, 2 seconds, guys, boomer problems here. They said, do you think that if you repeat enough times that the globe Earth defies physics, it will magically become true?
I just think it's hilarious to say that. And it objectively does defy all physics that we can replicate on Earth. So, fluid statics, it claims water bends convexly around the exterior of a spinning object in a vacuum, defying the second law of thermodynamics. So, yeah, it defies physics.
Gotcha. And next up, Elijah Freeman says, Paul Larson, planetarium director, explains that mathematically you wouldn't see curvature from the International Space Station, but that's what the International Space Station feed shows. I think
that's because the space station feed, it'll be using a wide angled lens, so that would give you a distinct curve.
Why would they do that?
Why? It give a better field of view.
Oh, to make it look like it's curving even though it's not? That's
to give you a better view.
Okay,
the same as you use a wide angled lens yourself.
I want to give Paul the last word because the question was challenging him, and then there's another one for you, Paul. This one says, for the claim of scientific evidence for gravity, can we have the hypothesis from either Newton or Einstein's papers as they are the original claimants?
No, I wouldn't have a clue.
Gotcha. And Truth Nerd says, the formula for buoyancy containing G, or local gravity, and AB science absolutely destroyed flat Earth alternatives mathematically and by experiment. I think that's for you, Paul.
That one was for me.
I think so. They said, so the formula for buoyancy contains G, in parentheses, local gravity, which,
Yeah.
and then they say, and AB science absolutely destroyed flat Earth alternatives mathematically and by experiment.
Yeah, so that's for the flat Earth then. It destroyed flat Earth, they said.
Oh, but they said it destroyed flat Earth alternatives. I think they're saying like alternatives to flat Earth, like such as anything other than a flat Earth idea, like were destroyed.
Right. I don't know. I don't quite understand the question.
Gotcha. It is. I'm a little bit confused by it myself. And Elijah Freeman says, vacuum also requires a container. I think that's for you, Paul.
On Earth, it would require a container, yes.
Thank you. And then P. Barnes, appreciate your question, said, just so we can hear him. Let's see. We'll wait until there he is. Just so we can hear him not answer again. Witsit, how does the dome-covered flat Earth explain the observable, testable pressure gradient?
Yeah. There's a vortexual ether on the Earth. Don't care if you spiral. There's no other way. But it doesn't really matter. Again, gas is constantly cycling at the surface level where there's vegetation, animals, and humans, which is where the prominence of the gas cycle takes place. Then we have temperature changes within weather patterns. We have electrostatic and electromagnetic phenomena, including the dielectric nature of the sun and the moon, and whatever the firmament itself is made up of, and the electromagnetic nature of that relative to what's below that. Some of these are capped off into speculation because we cannot verify them. So again, that's a non sequitur red herring fallacy to talk about the gradient when we're asking about the antecedent relationship of pressure.
And if you understood any of that, good luck, because I didn't.
Next up, Joe
Well, it all made sense, my man.
It did it, really.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Knowles, thank you for your question. Says, Witsit lots of words to string together, and he can say them rather quickly. If only he knew what any of them mean. Sad little fella.
Wow, dude, that was really creative, man. You're going to have to work on your delivery, bro.
Next up, Truth Nerd says, entropy is a quantity. Ever quantified it, Witsit?
Sorry, say it again. What?
He said, entropy is a quantity. Ever quantified it, Witsit?
No, see, quantification doesn't really mean much to me if it's just built upon presupposition. So the point is that entropy will increase. It's the increasing bit that is the crux of the argument. So to try to divert into if I've personally quantified entropy is literally irrelevant to the fact that entropy will increase. So the high pressure system will migrate to the low pressure system every time. It's natural law.
Thanks. Mike Billars, for your question, said, he said, Wits, regarding your dielectric world, let's see some equations or model. I want to do some independent validation to see if you're completely full of wits.
Well, sweet. I got you. Yeah, I can send you all kinds of links. So just email me at witsit@protonmail. If you're some gamma mail, just say the time. We don't care. Don't email me.
Gamma mail? Is that the new term?
Yeah, like, dude, every time I give my email out to someone, I'm like, if you really want to know, I'll tell you. I get like 10 messages from like gamma males that just talk crazy. So just, guys, no one cares.
What are gamma males? I've heard of beta males, but what are gamma males?
Pretty much the same thing, bro. I just think it's hilarious. Basically, secret kings, they think they got all the juice, you know?
That is fascinating. So... appreciate this coming in from Farron Salas. Thanks for your support. It says, thanks for all you do, Modern Day Debate, crushing it with nonstop debates. Fist bump. Thanks for your kind words and all credit to the debaters. We are thankful for them. They make this fun. And so, by the way, they're linked in the description, folks. Want to let you know that. And Magellan, thanks for your question, said, Witsit, you don't have enough money to pay for your own place to live, let alone a trip out of the country. Oh, getting personal.
Well, for one, we're staying in the country right now. And for two, I've literally lived on my own since I was 18, and I'm paying bills back at my house while we're on the road. So you're the gamma that we were just talking about. Next.
Oh my, and Standing for Truth jumps in, says, great work as always, Modern Day Debate. And again, all credit to our speakers. We are thrilled to have them. And they say Global Flood Debate channel right after this debate. Come join us. So Standing for Truth apparently is having a global flood debate on his channel after this. And Rob Kin, thanks for your question, said, my questions for the Globe. Is non-Euclidean geometry practically used in reality or Euclidean geometry?
No idea.
Gotcha. Frankly, me neither. And Mike Billers, thanks for your question, said, Wits, do you think images of galaxies are baloney? If so, have you tried photographing Andromeda? I can give you a really good how-to on YouTube.
Wow, you can tell me how to take pictures of the sky and then make up fairy tales about them being millions of light years away. Oh my gosh, I could figure out how to do that myself. I could just drop some acid and make up stories. So yeah, you can see what we see in the sky from the Earth, bro. It does not mean that it's millions and trillions of light years away. It's retarded. So yeah, we observe what we observe in the sky, but not what they say it is.
Gotcha. Let's see. This question coming in from Rob Kin says, my question for the Globe. Got that. Mike Billar says, General E. Shady, thanks for your question, said, Witless, your sister is calling. Go back to bed. I'm sorry for laughing. They say go back to bed. Okay, I think they're trying to insinuate that you have an incestuous relationship with your sister.
Wow, that's pretty funny, I guess. If you, I mean, you helped the joke out though. It wasn't well written. You know, you added the context, so that's kind of funny, I guess.
Next up, let's see. Oh boy, we've got so many juicy questions here. Let's see. Thank you for your question from Mike Billars. Says, Wits, what causes you? Okay, this is just weird. Some of these are like too personal, but they say the buoyancy equation is only a scalar value. It doesn't have a vector associated.
Okay, but it results in a vector. It results in directionality. So,
gotcha. And Mike Billars, thanks for your other question. This is for Paul. Thanks for your patience, Paul. He said, Paul, when you're flying, do you ever see the sunset at a measurable angle below your altitude? If so, please ask Witsit to explain why.
Yes, I do see that, and yes, Witsit, why?
What do you see?
When you're flying, you see sunset at an angle, as in it goes behind the horizon. Yeah. He's asking why.
Okay. Well, the sun sets because the sun moves away from you, and you can't see it anymore.
If the sun's, I've heard this before. If the sun sets because it moves away from you, why doesn't its size get smaller as it moves further and further away?
Angular size does change throughout the year, but again, we'd actually have to know what medium it's in. Or
only a very small amount. But if an object the size of the sun, or that we see the sun getting further and further away, surely that light would get smaller and smaller and smaller rather than just disappear over the horizon. It doesn't make sense.
That is a cool assumption that you're making, but we would need to know the medium that the sun's in. Is that the actual or the apparent location? Literally, you would have to know all three of those things. If you didn't, you would just be making up very low IQ, stupid stories. But simply, we know that there actually is a change, just like with the moon, and it moves away from us. And when I go out to the beach and I look at the sunset, the sun moves away from me in the sky and it sets. I'm not falling backwards, making it look like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's very simple. The sun goes farther away from you. It's smaller and local, and it ceases to be visible at one point. It reaches the perception limit, and you're just making claims about what it should do on something you don't even think is the truth. So it's quite irrelevant, to be honest.
Next up, thank you very much for your question. This one, 2 moments while it loads. A little slow over here. Mike Billar said, on one axis, Witsit?
I don't know what that means. On one axis, I don't believe in fairy tales of us being on an axis that wobbles at the devil's number of 66.6. You know, that's just stupid.
Elijah Freeman says, in both Black Swan images, the horizon is still beyond 1.2 miles. I think that's for Paul, though I don't fully.
Yeah, in both images, there's still refraction taking place. Yes.
Gotcha. And
just on one of them that they call the Black Swan, it is more refraction taking place in that.
He's just saying the other one debunks the globe too, anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Pick whichever one.
I'm not saying it debunks the globe. What I'm saying is that due to the fact that the distance changes, you can't use it as
Right.
I
was saying that the super chat was trying to say that even the other one that you brought up also debunks the globe because the horizon's too far in that picture too. That's what he's saying.
Right, yeah, got you.
Gotcha. And this one coming in from John Hymes says, Witsit, keep it up. You're doing great, kid.
Thanks, bro. Much love.
And Truth Nerd says, spaces are about points and their distances. Coordinate systems describe the location of points. Cartesian coordinates and spheres work fine together.
Yeah, once you add a z-axis, we've covered it numerous times. So
next, Neo Egypt says, how does a helium balloon debunk gravity? Helium, which has a mass of 4 grams per molecule, has a density of 0.164 grams per liter. Thus, a 1 liter balloon of helium can lift a mass of 1.18, basically 1.02 grams.
Yeah. Well, mass is a conceptual reification of gravity to try to quantify matter, and basically all you just did was make the flat Earth argument by bringing up density. So yeah, again, the primary causal agent is the density relationship of the object relative to the medium.
Next up, think outside the box. Appreciate your question. Said, great job, Witsit. As always, at this point, I'm sure even James is a secret flat earther. Okay. Well, I must remain neutral. Magellan, thanks for your question. Says, what's it meaning? They're saying, Witsit, what does it mean when you say, quote, morphing of fabrics and concepts, which is a reunification fallacy, vortextural, vestibular system, which affects reasoning, omnidirectionality. The pressure always mediates.
That's pretty funny. They just combined like all of the words that had a few extra syllables from all my arguments. So I'm not going to really entertain that one. It was an incoherent like attack. So whatever.
Juicy. This one coming in from Anthony Dickinson says, for Paul, will you please read the day for creation in Genesis and then tell us what the earth was revolving around the first 3 days?
Don't read the Bible.
Gotcha. And this question, Mike Billars says we got that one. Lack of Eunice, appreciate your question, says, doesn't the natural curvature in genitals of animals and humans, and especially in males, prove the effect of gravity and the curve of the earth since it occurs naturally? Is this a serious question?
I'll be honest, James. I seriously am not surprised that a globe earther would say something like that. You know, it seems to be a reoccurring theme. But no, actually, because, well, they're more dense than the air and they seek equilibrium at the time.
That is interesting. But thanks for your question. Ox says, flat earth, can we flip it and shake the stupid off?
Well, if you want to respond with any substantive specificity to any of the actual empirical evidence we've been compiling, that would be cool.
Next up, thanks for your question. Truth Nerd says, AB science destroyed flat earth explanations of buoyancy.
AB?
Whoever
Antonio Brown? I don't know.
Is that who it is?
I don't know what AB science is. I don't know what that is.
P.S. You were right before, Paul. Earlier, there was a question that I thought was for you, but you were right. It was actually for Witsit. So now it cleared it up for me. Sorry about that. And thanks for your question. This one coming in from Truth Nerds. Oh, we got that. Mike Biller says, Witsit, the sun is setting, quote unquote, below. Paul, why is that?
Because we live on a globe.
Gotcha. And Daniel Knight says, Witsit, how can you know the sun is moving away from you when setting? How are you measuring the distance?
I never claim to measure the distance because if you try to use triangulation, you need an actual location. It would be pretty foolish and unfounded for me to assume that the apparent perceivable location of the sun is the actual location. So I don't claim a distance. I claim that the sun moves away from me in the sky and then it sets when it's not visible anymore. But you claim that the sun didn't move at all, and I'm just falling backwards, and it looks like that. So,
Juicy. Thank you for your question. This one coming in from Daniel Knight says, Witsit, How can you know the sun is moving away from you when setting? How are you measuring the distance?
Just answer that one. You have to have the actual location.
Next up, Michael Lyon says, Witsit, what's up, homie? It's sad that people can't understand your cognitive explanations. LOL.
Yep. What's up, bro? Michael Lyon's a legend. And yeah, you just got to keep it pushing, dude. Plant the seeds and let the dead bury the dead. Yeah.
Next up, Mark Reed, thanks for your question, says, if the Earth is not spinning, how come there's a 15-degree drift on a ring laser gyroscope? Thanks, Bob.
I'm glad you asked. Well, because that's called the Sagnac effect. The actual person that discovered it, Sagnac, said that it was the vortexual movement, the vortex that moves within the ether that he was measuring. The person that discovered the Sagnac effect that the gyro still utilized. So basically, you just presuppose that the deviation is derivative of the Earth spinning as it creates its or establishes rigidity in space. But of course, that's not what happens. We've actually gone out and we've tested the same latitude, which on the Earth, that means that the deviation should be the same. The precession should be the same relative to latitude. We went to the same latitude, it changed altitude, and we got over a degree in variance at the same latitude, debunking the fact that people claim, or debunking the claim that it's actually the precession deriving from Earth rotation. So there you go.
Gotcha. And thanks for your question from Magellan says, Witsit, you didn't get it. What does all that gibberish mean? What does, quote, morphing of fabrics and concepts, which is a reunification fallacy, mean?
Okay. Yeah. So morphing of fabrics and concepts, I don't think I said that, but it is taking conceptual abstractions, concepts that human constructs that humans have come up with, like time, quantification of passing based on the sky, space, the idea of emptiness, taking those concepts and giving them physical properties, like when you bend something physically, or it warps physically, or your eyes dilate physically. You cannot give concepts physical properties. It's called a reification fallacy. That is where you give a concept misplaced concreteness.
Very juicy. And this question coming in from, appreciate it, Joe Knowles says, Witsit, I have something dense that's naturally curved and defies gravity that you might... I'm just not going to read it. Next up, you guys are nasty, nasty guys. All right. And thank you for your question. Magellan says, Witsit, a lot of what you speak is actually incoherent gibberish. Your misuse and misunderstanding of words is Olympic. You sound like a fool.
The funny part is that all they can ever do is give some vague little gamma recollection of how what I say doesn't make sense, but they can never specify it because typically it actually goes over their cognitive grasp in the moment and they can't retain what I say. So it's pretty hilarious. You're self-projecting your own intellectual insecurity.
Gotcha. This one coming in from Esteban Ilobaka. Appreciate your super chat. Says, Witsit, about the sun from a plane looking down. Considering perspective and geometry, how can an object that's above your eye level ever go below it? Shouldn't it just get smaller towards eye level?
Shouldn't it just get smaller above eye level? What? Dude, the sun's small and local and it moves away from you and then you can't see it anymore. But if you go to the top of a building, you can see it a little bit longer because you increase your angle of view. So the globe Earth is just this unfounded additional claim of terra firma bending convexly, blocking and physically obstructing your view of the sun, which doesn't happen. The sun moves. We don't fall backwards. We need evidence for claims antithetical to observation. Very simple.
Gotcha. This question from Mike Billar says, he's like a dog with a bone. He says, I'm going to need an answer to my question, Witsit. Why did the sun set below Paul when he was flying? Is the sun only 4,000 feet up?
It's a perceptive optical effect relative to the atmospheric conditions, your location, and the distance of the sun away from you during the day. This isn't complicated. The sun sets, it's an optical effect because it reaches the vanishing point of your limit of perception.
Gotcha. And this one from Truth Nerds, appreciate it, said AB Science is a YouTube channel worth watching. Thank you for that. And Anthony Dickinson says, as a pilot, Paul, if you traveled in your plane in a straight line at 1,001 mile per hour, will you eventually be above the sun if you followed it?
No.
Gotcha. And thanks for your question, Trevor Mishler. Another one of your buddies, Witsit, right? It says, Witsit, you're awesome. Do you have any special plans to celebrate your debate victory tonight? Oh, snap. Oh, you got a fan out there, apparently.
Yeah, it's Trevor. He's our boy, man. He kicks it with us. He's on the tour. Clown World Tour. Witsit gets it, but they're going to kick me off of there, I'm sure, because stupid flat earthers have to get censored forcibly. But, yeah, that's my homie. And probably just kick it with the base flat earthers that came to kick it here. So that's what we'll do tonight.
A lot of kicking. And thanks for your question. Magellan says, Witsit, quote, vestibular system, which affects reasoning. It doesn't, you clown. It affects balance. Omnidirectionality is also not a real word.
Okay, it literally is a real world. You should have Googled it before you spent money and made yourself look like a douchebag. So I don't know what else to tell you. What was the first part? Can you reread the first part?
Yes. They said, this, quote, vestibular system, which affects reasoning. They said, doesn't.
Yeah, I said spatial reasoning. Dun, dun, dun.
You got it. And yes, thank you. Let's see what we've got here. Want to make sure I don't have that. One last one. This one from Esteban Ilobaca. Thank you for your question. And then I do want to wrap up pretty quick here just because we are super thankful that Paul is with us. Paul is actually in England. What time is it there right now, Paul?
3:15.
Okay. Holy smokes. So we do want to let Paul get to sleep by a decent time. So it's like Esteban Ilobaca says, please ask Witsit to answer my last question. Why does the sun go below eye level from a plane? If it's refraction, there should be a temp inversion.
Really? So refraction is not even a fully understood phenomena. Actually, Snell's law is the one that tells you how to quantify and understand refraction. And that's about the change between two media, right? From one medium to another. So the atmosphere is, of course, a singular medium that isn't homogeneous. And there's changes within. So you have to use a differential of Snell's law equation. So if you're trying to invoke refraction and claim that you have some type of full bulletproof understanding of the phenomena when you literally cannot, according to subject matter experts, I don't know what to say, but please stop super chatting the same question over and over, man. The sun moves away from you and it reaches its vanishing point. You can't see it anymore until you have empirical evidence otherwise. It's just a fairy tale story you're trying to tell me, man.
Next up, question the answers. Got a last one and says, Witsit ever look into pendulous veins? And also the inverse square law barbecues the moon mainstream narrative. Hope everyone has an excellent Saturday.
Yeah, pendulous veins is the little thing they say that supposedly helps them to establish the rigidity in space and use gyros around this magic spinning cartoon ball where Coriolis is here but not here and you can't see it and all this other nonsense. And the inverse square law barbecues the moon's mainstream narrative. Yeah, they claim it's 238,000 miles away. Of course, the inverse square law debunks the entire claim about the vast distances of the stars that we see for thousands of years. And they claim that we see them, but they're not there. But yeah, the inverse square law necessitates them be much more local.
Gotcha. Very interesting. So, folks, I'm going to be right back with a post-credit scene where I will be telling you the upcoming debates. You will want to stick around for that. It's going to be exciting, but want to remind you before we go to the break where I say goodbye to our guests, they're linked in the description. If you want to hear more, folks, now is a great opportunity to click on their links at the very top of our description box. And so, thanks everybody. And thank you so much, most of all, to our guests. We appreciate you guys. You guys make this channel fun. And so, Paul, thanks so much. And Witsit, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for letting me on. Brilliant. We enjoyed it.
Our pleasure. Thanks, guys. And as mentioned, I'll be back with that post-credit scene in just a moment, folks. Stay put. epic. Super fun. So thanks everybody for all of your questions. Sorry we did not get to all of the questions, but do want to say thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We're pumped. You guys, first I want to say hi. Just get to hang out with you guys, say hello. I love getting to say hello. So thanks so much for being with us. Robert Page, good to see you. Esteban Ilabaca, thanks for being with us, buddy. Hope you are having a great time. And Raisins Detrays, Rodney, thanks for being with us. Mark Reed, good to see you again. Heat Shield, glad you're here. Lenny Cash, Rob Montgomery, thanks for hanging out with us. And also, good old Melanie Moran is back. Thanks for being with us. Matthias Vestergaard, thanks for being here. Flat Plain Oregon, New World Abnormal, thanks for being with us. And thanks for your positivity, says, great debate. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's right. If you have not hit that like button yet, and if you want to show some support, if you found this was a fun Friday night activity, hit that like button, as we do appreciate that support. And Angie S., glad you are here. Thanks for hanging out with us, along with Get Real and Flat Earth 2017 Consciousness. Thanks for being with us, and Love, Wisdom, Harmony as well. But yeah, we are pumped, you guys. Thanks so much, Lewis Barnett, for your kind words. Says, hey, James, glad to watch you live again. Thanks, man. We're stoked you're here. It's always fun here in the live show. It's always like, I tell the debaters right before we go live every time, I'm like, this is just so much fun for me. Thank you guys for being with us. And it is, you guys, it's a blast. So we're thankful for our guests. They rock. They are linked in the description. And also want to let you know, though, see that poster, the one I'm pointing to right now? That is going to be happening in the next several weeks. There's no exact date. We're planning that out with Matt and Sam. So that's coming up, though, folks. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be epic. But let me tell you about some of the other ones. Oh, baby. We've got some cool ones, you guys. Let me tell you that some of you love him. Some of you hate him. Fight the Flat Earth will be back in a couple of weeks. He will be taking on Iger Television. So that should be a juicy one. If you love this topic, folks, which you must if you're here, you won't want to miss that one either. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you don't want to miss that next Flat Earth debate coming up, especially if you want to tune in for it live. You guys, be sure to hit that notification bell so you get every notification for when we go live. Also, though, you guys, we are pumped. I mean, honestly, we will be back tomorrow night. It is a surprise in terms of what it'll be, though. Then, next Tuesday, Brenton and Ben Burgess will be debating a political debate. I can't remember the exact title. But also, next Friday, we're planning on another debate in the religion realm, that featuring Randolph Richardson. So that should be a juicy one. He is president of Canadian Atheists, and so you don't want to miss that one as well. But yeah, you guys, we've got a ton of epic ones coming up, and so want to be sure that you don't miss them. It's going to be fun. But thanks so much for your kind words in the chat. Squatch Talk, I appreciate that. Really do appreciate your kindness and positivity. And Skeptic77, thanks for being with us. Albert Bitcoin, of course. Megan Satanis and Rob Noand, thanks for being with us. Touch Speedbox, I got your email. Thanks for letting me know about that. I did not know about that. You guys, if anybody got blocked by Gavin last night, I'm sorry. Gavin should never have a wrench here. We don't trust him. So what I think might have happened is I will talk to Praise. I'm guessing that when Praise moderates, he wrenches up his buddies. Not happening anymore. So yeah, sorry that Gavin apparently hid some people yesterday. Not cool. So thanks for letting me know about that. And so we want everybody to have their chance to say what they want here. The only thing we say is that we don't allow hate speech. But I mean, anything else goes. And so it's sometimes a little bit rocky in the chat. Sometimes the chat can be a little bit, fighty. That's one way to put it. But nonetheless, we do want everybody to have their chance to say whatever they want to an extent, within reason. Roy Ayers, 3%, glad you're here. Flat Plain, Oregon, glad you're here. And let's see, Lenny Cash, good to see you, buddy. Question the answers, thanks for being with us. And Matthias Vestergaard, thanks for your kind words. Says, thanks, James, great debate. Thank you, Matthias. We appreciate you hanging out with us. It's always fun. And Brittle, sorry we did not get to your question or questions. I'm like, so I hope Paul stays up this late usually, because what was it? I think Paul said it was 3 a.m. before he left. But yeah, General Ballsack, thanks for being with us, says that's CGI. And yes, thank you guys, though, for hanging out with us. Stephane, good to see you again. And am I pronouncing it right? Let me know. But also Stephanie Tretton, thanks for being with us. And Angie S., glad you're here. Louis Barnett. But yeah, you guys, this is always fun. Jay Aceto or Aceto, we're glad you're here. FPV Barry, thanks for dropping by. Hope you feel welcome, friend. And yeah, we are pumped, though. Lacab Eunice, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it, buddy. King Crew, glad you're here. Thanks for all your support of the channel. That means a lot. And yes, you guys, we are pumped, though. Want to let you know, check this out. You guys, we're pumped. If you have Amazon Prime, you can use that to help support Modern Day Debate. So want to let you know about that. If you did not know that, Amazon Prime comes with a free Twitch subscription that you can use on Modern Day Debate if you want. And it helps us out because it's basically each month it's like $2.50 that you don't pay anything extra. It's just part of your Amazon Prime deal where you can use that subscription for Modern Day Debate and it helps the channel. We plan on some big debates this summer, a lot of which will be we were planning on doing them in person, including flat earth debates, some. So it's going to be epic, you guys. And that is one thing that, like, when you do give through, if you have a Amazon Prime account, and then if you use it to use your free Twitch subscription on Modern Day Debate, that helps us to do that in terms of travel. I had mentioned last time, if we had, let's say, 100 people who were Twitch subscribers, and then let's say, so they were Twitch subscribers using their free Amazon Prime deal, so they don't pay anything extra than they normally pay. That's $250 per month that we could use easily. That covers at least a one-way and maybe even a round-trip flight for one of those in-person debates. So it really does. It helps when a lot of people do it. So thank you guys. We already do have more and more people are doing it, which we appreciate. Thanks for your support on that. And want to say as well, though, Tuss Beatbox, thanks for the updates on the channel and what's going on when I'm not here on Thursday night. And Harmonica Man, pumped to have you here. Oh, good to see you again, L. I hope you're doing well. Oh, Adam, you're up late, man. Adam Elbilia, good to see you. Says, thanks for being with us, Lizard James. The lizard people, I am concerned. You know, fortunately, I listen to Alex Jones, so I know everything that's coming up in the future because he lets me know. I'm joking. I don't actually listen to him. But that's a person that we might theoretically, in terms of those in-person debates, that might happen in the summer. So, yeah, I agree. Perfect one. I will have to talk to Praise about that moderating stuff because I'm like, dude. So we are excited, though. I am pumped to just, get to hang out with you guys. So thanks for being here. You guys, can I let you know that behind this curtain, because you didn't maybe know, this is a curtain. See this? See it move? We are at, as of right now, 171 likes. If we can get to 200 likes, we can totally do this, you guys. That's only 29 more likes. I will show you a new object from behind the curtain. You guys, this curtain, I can lift it up and I can show you the new thing. You could say the new item behind the mystery curtain tonight. So please do hit that like button because you don't want to miss it. And let's see here. I was intrigued to learn about this new term, gamma males. That's super interesting. I never knew about it. So do people use that now? Gamma males? Oh man, I'm a boomer, so I'm kind of behind on all the terminology. But, Twitch chat, I'm so sorry, you guys. I've been super slow. Luz Seal, thanks for being a subscriber. That's right. The terminology is still new for me on Twitch even. But yeah, thank you, Laziel. And then NT Can says, leaving my question hanging, sad face. I am sorry about that, NT Cans, but it's really tough because the trick is, like I said, Paul being up until 3 a.m, I'm like, I had no idea he was even in Europe, and so until tonight, and then I was like, crap, because I feel bad making when we have European guests on and they're staying up into the early morning hours. I just feel like I'm so sorry, but Poor Lucy, good to see you in the Twitch chat. Luz CL, thanks for being with us. And Poor Lucy says tonight, no. No more debate tonight. But yes, Brooke Sparrow, good to see you there again in the old Twitch chat. And yeah, you guys, I am pumped it's just really fun. Thank you guys for the support of the channel. I'm excited about the future. We're doing new things. We're working on getting more new topics. That's right. Squatch Talk says, is it Vosh behind the curtain? It might be. You never know. But we are excited, though. Let's see. General Balzac says, is Bruce Banner Hulkman means you're bad to the bone? It's Bruce Banner / Hulk. Man means you're bad. No, it's not a blow-up doll, by the way. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. RFFEFCE. Thanks for being with us again. Good to see you, pal. Stripper Liquor, good to see you. Let's see. Nero, glad you're here. And let's see. Did I miss it? Did I not see anybody? Did I miss you, anybody? Master Optics, glad you came by. Good to see you again. And yeah, we're excited, though, about the future. We have a lot of awesome stuff. So we are pumped about it. And yeah, you guys, we really do appreciate you here, whether you're a flat earther, a globe earther, a hollow earther, you name it. I don't know what else there is, but we are excited. And we're also excited, you guys, that in the future, we're just pumped that our podcast, people have really enjoyed the podcast. That is encouraging. So thanks, Spartan Theology, who says, hit that like button, people. I agree. Please do hit that like button to support the stream and Modern Day Debate, as we want to be a neutral platform for everybody to be able to make their case on a level playing field. We are excited about the future, you guys. It's honestly going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. So, also want to let you know, though, yes, let's see. Tuss Beatbox says, low-key, kind of wish James noticed my accomplishment message. Did I miss it? I'm so sorry. Tuss, what was it that I missed? Let me know. And, but yeah, you guys were pumped. General Ballsack, yeah, I was confused by that one, but don't worry, no problem, friend. And Lewis Barnett says, James, I would love to see one day see a Scientologist come on. Yeah, we could do that. I'm open to it. If there are any Scientologists out there, and you're like, hey, yeah, James, like, I'm right here, right under your nose. What are you waiting for? Shoot me an email at moderndaydebate@gmail.com if you're a Scientologist and you want to come on. Also, if you happen to be INCEL, if you happen to identify as that, let me know. Email me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com, because we would like to host you. As that topic, as controversial as it is, we are willing to host it. Master Optics says, oh, hey, James, glad you're back. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And Stripper Liquor says, Tuss is 1 year drug-free. Congrats, Tuss. Like, that is awesome. Good for you. Like, I'm excited for you. So that's just super encouraging. We're glad for you. Thanks, Tuss, for sharing that. I always like good news. I like positive news. That's one thing I got to tell you, folks. We want to have a philosophy of being happy for other people. Like, if someone, like, let's say there are, like, other debate channels. So if you guys have ever heard of the channel Unbelievable with Justin Brierly, we are happy for their success. They're doing, like, we're like, basically, we're in close to the same lane, almost. We do debates besides religion. They do mostly debates on religion. And we're like, hey, if they have success, we're happy for them. Like, that's great. Like, we want to be happy for other people. And so when we hear good news, we want to be happy for them, rather than, like, you know, sometimes there are people out there that are, like, all bitter and they're like, oh, they're doing well, but, like, screw them, you know? And it's like, well, why are you, like, angry at someone else's success? Like, why not be happy for them? It's good news. So thanks. Squatch Talk says Bigfoot debate part 2, maybe. And Anthony Dickinson says Shabbat, Shalom, and blessings to you all and both of the debaters. Great show. Austin killed yet another wizard, though. I don't know what you mean by wizard, but we, let's see. Is that like something from their tour? I don't know, but we do appreciate you guys. And so thanks, Double-Minded. Thanks for your super chat and super sticker saying, how's it going? Thanks for your support. Seriously, that means a lot. And it's going well. I'm excited, you guys. We've just, man, it's always fun here, you guys. You make it fun. The more the merrier. So we appreciate you guys. We hope you feel welcome. Let us know if there's something I can do to make your day easier. And General Ballsack says, I've been hitting Unbelievable recently. Really good channel. I agree. They have a great channel. It's a lot of fun stuff. And so, like I said, we're happy for them. Like as they, when they have like a huge event or something, it's like, hey, that's awesome. Like, let's be happy for them. Like, so anyway, glad to see you. Reserwad of Gore. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a great night. King Crew, looks like you're settling down for the night. Says, what is it? Take care, all. Thank you, King Crew, for your kindness. And then And the George says, I don't think the curtain is filling tonight. Did you say filling? I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys. We're excited about the future. And so thanks for your support. We have got big plans though, you guys. I really want to do like a summer tour. So kind of like right now, Witsit and Nathan Thompson and those guys are traveling. I want to do something like that this summer where Modern Day Debate is traveling and I'm just driving around to different cities in the United States and hosting epic debates. Like that would be so fun. So I'm like really, I'm excited for it. And yeah, we really, it's going to be fun. So appreciate all your support in helping make that happen. And yeah, you guys, I hope you are doing well, folks. We hope that you feel loved here. We hope that you feel like it's a community. About a month ago, actually 2 months now. Holy smokes, time is flying, you guys. It's crazy. Yeah, about 2 months ago, a woman, she in the chat mentioned her father just passed away. And I was like, wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm like embarrassed to say I'm so sorry. It's hard to remember her name. But she had mentioned her father passed. And I just appreciated that. Well, obviously I first felt bad. Like I felt terrible for her. Like my heart broke for her. Like I was like, I don't know what that feels like, but I know it's got to be bad. And so I'm really sorry. And we hope she's doing well. If you're out there, if you ever hear this. And she was willing to share it in the chat though. And that just made me feel so good that it was kind of like a feeling of community here that she felt. And people in the chat were really supportive. She mentioned that basically she mentioned that her father just passed away hours before the stream. So we were like live when she said it in the chat, of course. And I was like, wow. My heart just ached. I just felt I was like, wow. But I also felt so glad that we could kind of be there for her and support her. And so I was like, oh man, like we just hope that you know we care about you. And everybody in the chat was so awesome to her. And it made me feel so good, like happy that this is like a community of our own. And yes, thanks for your kind words. Appreciate it. That support means a lot. And so Anthony Dickinson says, if you get around Mississippi, holla at me, brother. I'll debate effed up world. That would be fun. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know that. But yeah, we're pumped, you guys. Is for me, I'm like, man, I appreciate you guys. And I know it's true. We are going to differ on things, folks. We're going to differ on flat earth versus globe earth, Christian versus atheist or Muslim or whatever the view is, agnostic, I mean, you name it, Republican versus Democrat, all of those. But nonetheless, I hope all of you, no matter what groups of those or others, we hope you feel welcome. We hope you know we appreciate you. And remember that we, despite being from all those different groups, we have things in common, folks. One being, we all want fair debates on a level playing field. That is the vision of this channel, folks. And believe it, we have got big goals. We're going to do big things this summer, big events, monster events that are going to be epic. And so when all the smoke and dust has cleared, folks, believe me, Modern Day Debate is going to grow. It's going to be big. We're confident of that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in the future, and it's going to be monstrous. And so we appreciate all of your guys' huge support for that. As we are excited about the future, we're passionate about this calling. That's our purpose. And I would say additionally, something else that we all agree on is that, for example, no matter whether we be Republican, Democrat, black, white, gay, straight, you name it. The thing is, all of us believe in the value of when we do our charity streams, and you guys support those by once in a while, we do about once a month, we'll do a charity stream where 100% of the super chats will go to charity. And so thank you guys. Like that is honestly just, we are excited. And that's something where it's like, hey, again, all of us, no matter what walk of life we are from, it's like, well, we all believe in that too. So we have a lot more in common than you might think. You could say our social categories. Like, it's kind of like we are in those ways in terms of what we value. Like, there are things that make us united, and we appreciate you guys and being united with us as we pursue those visions of hosting fair debates on a level playing field for everybody, and also helping make the world a better place through that monthly charity stream that we do. So thank you guys. You guys rock. You are the steam that powers this channel, and the debaters are as well. They're the lifeblood of the channel. And so thank you guys for all of your support. Rezawat of Gore says, would an anti-VAX debate get you kicked off of YouTube? No, it wouldn't. We've done it before. I'm open to doing it, but it just for some reason hasn't been like around. Like it people haven't been really asking for it. But Snowflake Whisperer, good to see you. Thanks for being with us, friend. Appreciate you. And let's see. Did I miss anybody else? I just love saying hi to you guys. You guys make it fun. But yeah, we're excited about the future. So you guys, that's a trick. We have so much in common, you guys. I always hate leaving. It's always like I say goodbye like 10 times when I say goodbye to you guys. But I just enjoy this. It's just fun. Do you guys have any ideas? One thing I would say, yeah, if you can let us know. If you know of anybody who's willing to debate on the topic of INCEL, please email us at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. That would be a new juicy topic. And I have been having so much trouble. I've been looking, believe me. It's really hard to find somebody that's willing to do that topic. So, oh man, it's tough, you guys. But let's see. Dejube, glad you're here. Even though it's late, we're pumped you came by. Thanks for being with us. And also, Brittle says, let's see. Thanks for your constructive criticism, Brittle. Appreciate it. It's good for us. So feel free, you guys, if you have constructive criticism for the channel, feel free to let us know, as we want to make the channel a better channel. And you guys have ideas, and we appreciate you sharing those with us. And that's the trick. Like, if you go back to, I always talk about this because it's my favorite. Well, there's more than one debate where we've got a lot of criticism of Modern Day Debate, or me, or another moderator sometimes, probably rarely, because they all rock. They do a great job. But we leave the criticism up. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to like cover it up when people are like, James, I felt like you could do better in this. And it's like, I'm just going to delete that. It's like, we appreciate if they're polite, constructive criticism comments. But, yeah, even when they're not, it's like, I want to, like, generally speaking, I want it to kind of be like, well, it's out there, it's out in the open, and, you know, people can read it if they want, and we want people to just have freedom when they're here. You know, we don't want people feeling like they're walking around on eggshells. And so I wonder that sometimes. Like, there are some channels that I comment, and I'm like, nobody interacts with my comment. And I'm like, is it, like, am I hidden on that channel? Sometimes I wonder that. I'm a little paranoid. Jose JG, glad you made it, friend. And let's see here. Dejube says, yeah, first time catching you live, and I only catch the after show. Yeah, that's true. But we do have another debate tomorrow night that we're setting up, and so hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow night. That'll be excited. And then Anthony Dickinson says, much love to you all. Troll or not, I love you. Many, many blessings to you all. Thanks for your love and kindness, Anthony Dickinson. That means a lot. We hope you feel loved as well. And General Ballsack says, check your Twitch stream for INCELS. Oh, is there somebody in the Twitch chat that identifies as that? As INCEL? Let me know, because it's amazing. I've been looking hard. It is so hard to find a person who happens to be INCEL who's willing to debate. Beats me. I don't know. Not easy. But yeah, we're pumped. I didn't see anybody, General Ballsack. Oh, okay. You're just messing with me. But yeah, we are excited. And so thanks, everybody. Brittle says, let's see. Thanks for your constructive criticism as well, or more so your follow-up to that, Brittle. And Jerry Streeter says, I don't know what that means. It means a person who never has sensual relations with someone, and it's involuntary. In other words, like it's because they can't find anybody that would have relations with them. Heat Shield says, get a basic idea from a video on the non-sec show. Should be an easy intro to the topic. Yeah, it's they've had it on there. And then Old Boy says, hey James, not that you peer pressured me or anything, but I have been looking into nicotine supplementation for focus and studying. How has performance been for you? Thanks. Yeah, I don't know if I should have. You guys remember I mentioned that. So I do. Sometimes I use nicotine while I study. You don't need it. I think it helps. I think that if you're trying to, like, for example, if you're going to take the GRE or the LSAT or some other sort of test to get into like a grad program or law school or whatever, I would try to get every little bit of help I could. And nicotine is a nootropic, so it does actually, in a real way, you do think a little better with nicotine. I wouldn't smoke. I have these. Like, this is just, I put a little bit of a lozenge in my, can you hear that? I put a little bit of a small little piece of this like white stuff. Can you see that? It's hard to see it. But I put that into my lip, and then it helps a little bit. So, yeah. I don't notice a big difference in my thinking. If you've ever taken, let's see, let's say you've taken the drug CONCERTA. This is not going to be as good as that in terms of like how much that helps. I would say it's probably like caffeine in terms of like the benefit you get out of it. Is it worth the cost? Because this tube, I think it's like $10 a tube, at least. It's 20. I'm like, I don't know. If you have to do something like the GRE, go for it. I bought a lot of it, so I have a lot left over from my first year of my doctorate. Because my first year of my doctorate, I was like really nervous. I was like, am I really cut out for getting the doctorate and all that? And so I was taking these hard stats courses that I was like, I want to be at my absolute best. And now I use it to like help me stay awake. It does make me feel a little more awake. So sometimes I'll pop a little bit while I'm meditating, but yeah, I would say in terms of like, yeah, it's like General Ballsack. Glad you're, thanks for your joke though. And K Doc, thanks for being with us. Glad you're here, buddy. And let's see. General Ballsack said, I might be able to do some scouting. Thanks for your help if you can. That means a lot. Sigifredo Sarabia! We're glad you're here, buddy. Good to see you again. And then, let's see. And the George said, making fun of those poor INCEL fellows, calling them betas. But yeah, let's see. Anthony Dickinson says, I'm diving out, brother. You are a super good host, brother. Love your channel, man. You're seriously blessed. Good night, and good night to all. Also, try WEED. Thanks for your kind words, Anthony Dickinson. We appreciate you, buddy. That seriously means a lot. Thanks for the love. General Ballsack says, I got hooked on cigs while in Iraq. Nicotine really helps you stay awake for 12 Overwatch when nothing happens. Yeah, I mean, that's for me. Sometimes I just have a bad night of sleep, and I still want to meditate the next day. I'm really big on meditation. That's one thing I would say. If you want an academic edge, meditation in a real way kind of makes you smarter. Depending on if you categorize working memory as being like a subcomponent of intelligence, which I would argue that it should be. Not everybody does. But meditation helps your working memory, and that in turn I would say is a part of intelligence. And so in a real way, I think meditation makes you smarter. But Old Boy says, yeah, I saw that specific version in bulk sale for around $50. LOL. I just never considered nicotine for a nootropic. I couldn't find any significant side effects on rare usage. Yeah, I think you'd be fine. And I even use it like once a day sometimes. Yeah. So I would not worry. But I would say, I mean, there's maybe some potential bad stuff. Like I haven't read about these. And it also says, I think it says like, don't use for more than a year or something. So I would say I would be careful because it, you know, theoretically it could be, and it could have a negative effect, like maybe on the inside of your lip. So I would say like, you know, I'd be maybe careful about that. But General Ballsack says, though I don't think a lot of INCELs would be willing to debate live, that is their way. Yeah, I think you're right. That's maybe why it's been hard for me to find them. Reservoir of course says nicotine suppositories help meditation. Now that sounds fun. And then Anthony Dickinson, thanks for your super chat, man. Love you too. Means a lot. It says just because I love you all. Thanks, Anthony. Seriously, appreciate the support, man. I'm really excited about the future, and so I'm pumped though, you guys. I'm excited about this channel, and you guys make it great. Like, you guys are just awesome. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you every step of the way for all of your guys' support. Fred Farkle, thanks for being with us, buddy. And let's see. One thing that's cool too, I'm looking in the creator studio right now. So like in YouTube, it shows me the stats. That's cool. Let's see. It looks like some new people subscribed during this debate. So thanks for subscribing to our friends who have. We appreciate you. And yeah, I'm just excited that you guys, this has been a total blast. It was a fun debate. And so we are looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. It would be a blast to have you there. And so stripper liquor, I agree. A MGTOW debate would be really interesting. That'd be really fun. So I think that'd be awesome. So I'm open to that as well if somebody wanted to defend that position. So Adam Elbilia says no more than a year, perhaps, because one might develop dependency. Maybe that could be. I mean, I do enjoy the stuff. I don't know if it makes a huge difference, to be honest. Like, that's the only thing, is that it's like, I do think it helps me from like falling asleep. I seem to, like, if I meditate, I'm like less likely to doze off while I'm on it. But I would say in terms of my mood, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I like feel much happier or something. And then Stripper Liquor says, how about a MGTOW debate? I'm open to it, man. Let me know if you know somebody who's like amped to debate the topic. That could be really cool. So yeah, Brittle, thanks for saying night, James. Appreciate you, Brittle. Thanks for being kind. And we hope you have a great night. And yes, thank you guys, everybody. We love you. Thanks for all of your support. We're excited about the future. And if you're like, you know, I'm feeling like I want to do a good deed today. One thing is, if you open up Modern Day Debate on your favorite podcast app and you give us a positive rating, that helps a lot. So that would be a good deed if you want to do one for the day that we appreciate. So thanks so much. And feel free to even like let me know via email or in the live chat if you did give us a positive rating, as that means a lot. Or maybe you gave us a bad rating. You said, James, I was triggered and I gave you a bad rating. It's probably better than no rating. So we appreciate you guys rating us all together. Brittle says, FWIW. I don't know what that means. I'm not. Do I look like a guy who's hip? They said, I usually enjoy these after show chats more than the debates themselves. Thanks, Brittle. That means a lot. Seriously, I'm super encouraged by that. And, but yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That's super encouraging. It's fun for me. And that's why it's like, once I get going, I'm like, this is just fun. Like, I don't want to leave. Like, I'm just enjoying it. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And I'm honestly just excited. So thanks, everybody. We will hopefully see you tomorrow night, as long as you got that notification bell clicked for all, and that way you won't miss it, folks. It's always fun. The live show, in my opinion, is like the most, I just think it's a blast. It's like the spontaneity of a live show. There's something that makes that extra fun, in my opinion. Just sort of kind of like, yeah, it's like, oh no, it's going like right now. So thanks, everybody. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Hope to see you then. So thanks, everybody. Oh, Brittle says FWIW means for what it's worth. Thank you, Brittle, for making me just a little bit more hip. Appreciate it. So thanks, everybody. Lenny Cash says, good night, everybody. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Love ya. Take care.